Uchiha Madara's journey through the worlds. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151 News about the Pure Lotus Demonic Fire. That's right, that's the Pure Lotus Demon Fire. After hearing Uchiha Madara's words, Patriarch Danta nodded. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly. It seemed the Soul Palace was also interested in the Pure Lotus Demon Fire, ranked third on the list of strange fires. That twisted space must be where the Pure Lotus Demon Fire was sealed. He undoubtedly wanted to obtain it. However, while the Soul Palace Master's soul power was slightly inferior to his Dou Qi level was at the 5-star Dou Sheng level, posing a definite threat to him. Therefore, before the Pure Lotus Demon Fire could be unsealed, he needed to increase his power to a level capable of crushing that Soul Palace Master. To achieve this, he could do two things. First, return to the Magna World of Canon Academy in the Blackhorn region and retrieve a ripe fruit from the sacred tree. Second, find one or two more strange fires to truly elevate his Dou Qi level to the Dou Sheng level. Come on, he wanted to see the true strength of the Soul Palace. See you again if we are lucky. Uchiha Madara waved to Patriarch Danta, and his soul wave quickly returned to the corpse burial mountain range. Standing slightly, and after sensing his surroundings, Uchiha Madara instantly moved in front of Yao Chen and Zuan Yi. Congratulations, Mr. Madara, on your soul's advancement to the Quasi-Emperor realm. Yao Chen and Zuan Yi bowed upon seeing Uchiha Madara arrive. The timing is right. I'm here today to refine a body for you. After I'm done, I have things to do, Uchiha Madara said. He would keep his promise to Yao Chen. Moreover, with his current soul power and fire control abilities, refining a body would be a piece of cake. Yes. Yao Chen nodded solemnly. His heart was high, but at this moment, he couldn't help but feel a surge of emotion. After 30 years, he would finally regain his body. Zuan Yi smiled beside him. She had great faith in Uchiha Madara's professional abilities. After today's incident, that old bastard Yao Chen would probably listen to her more. Uchiha Madara nodded, and, with a flick of his finger, the bone melting blood pill, tempered by the 9-colored pill thunder, slowly floated toward Yao Chen. Yao Chen reached out to take the bone melting blood pill. Though alarmed by its quality, he didn't hesitate. With a thought, a wisp of soul flew out, hovering beside Madara. Madara seized the soul and slammed it into the skeleton of a Dou Sheng, forcing it into the bones. This skeleton belonged to a Soul Palace Grand Master, a 1-star Dou Sheng, and was exactly what he needed. I will refine the body first. Once it's successful, you will enter it and complete the fusion. Uchiha Madara shouted, clenching his palm, and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. Blue and red blood slowly flowed within the jade bottle, and a shocking wave of energy emanated from it, causing the entire space to vibrate. Go. Uchiha Madara flicked his finger, and instantly all the crimson blood within the jade bottle flew out, pouring onto the Dou Sheng skeleton. Puffs of white smoke erupted, and a sizzling sound echoed. This was the essence of an 8th tier demon beast. Besides the Shengu Rangsu pill and the Dou Sheng skeleton, it was also an essential ingredient for Yao Chen's body refining. As soon as the crimson blood touched the Dou Sheng skeleton, the color rapidly spread. In the blink of an eye, the skeleton's color changed from grayish white to a vibrant crimson. Faintly, a rich energy surged from the skeleton. Seeing this, Madara raised his hand, and the crimson skeleton automatically levitated. A surge of 7-colored strange fire enveloped the skeleton. The essence of an 8th tier demon beast was extremely potent and difficult to fuse, so he had to use strange fire to heat this energy into every part of the skeleton, allowing it to absorb this incredible energy. This tempering and burning process lasted for over an hour, a time-consuming process. Uchiha Madara looked at the skeleton before him. At that moment, the bluish-red color had dimmed considerably, losing its former vibrant hue. But he understood this was because the energy from the demonic beast's essence and blood had completely penetrated the skeleton under the intense heat. Enter. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara's expression shifted, and he shouted in a deep voice. Yao Chen nodded. With his discerning eye, he knew now was the perfect time. Immediately, Yao Chen removed the bone-growing and blood-melting pill from the jade bottle and swallowed it. His form quickly became ethereal, transforming into a streak of light and darting into the skeleton. Bang! The moment Yao Chen's soul entered the Daosheng's skeleton, the skeleton trembled violently. Light gradually gathered in its hollow eye sockets, and at that moment, a terrifying, strange energy emanated from the skeleton. Under this energy, flesh and blood began to form on the skeleton. This miraculous effect was undoubtedly due to the bone-growing and blood-melting pill, which had been baptized by the nine-colored pill thunder. The critical moment has arrived, Uchiha Madara warned. Alright. Yao Chen replied. Uchiha Madara's hands flew, and the 7 colored flames enveloping the skeleton suddenly ignited. Under such powerful flames, the newly formed flesh and blood tissue was instantly reduced to ash. But as the ash dissipated, the terrifying and strange energy from the bone-growing and blood-melting pill reappeared, and the growth of flesh and blood accelerated. Eventually, only the rapidly wriggling of granulation tissue could be seen, and a bloody fuzzy humanoid figure quickly took shape. This burning and growth of flesh and blood continued for a considerable time, and the skin tissue on the flesh and blood finally took shape under the scorching flames. As the skin formed, the skeleton on the stone platform also fully transformed into a humanoid form. Now, it was time for Yao Chen to merge with this body, and then the Yao Zun who had once amazed the Dou Qi continent would be able to return to the world. Uchiha Madara stood up and looked at Zhuan Yi beside him. His soul and body are merging. This process will take approximately 2 or 3 days. As you should know, no one else can interrupt him during this process. I'll leave the task of protecting him to you. After the fusion is successful, because the skeleton used is that of a Daosheng, and because these decades have been a powerful training for his soul, his strength should surpass his previous peak Daozun. Becoming a Daosheng may be a bit unlikely, but becoming a semi-saint or even a high-level semi-saint is possible. Thank you, Mr. Madara. I'll take care of the rest. Zhuan Yi bowed in gratitude. By the way, do you know where other strange fires exist? Uchiha Madara asked. As one of the 3 greats of Danta, her knowledge of the world's strange fires should be far greater than his. He had obtained information from Yao Chen, but Yao Chen's information was 30 years old, and ordinary minor figures wouldn't necessarily know about such precious things as strange fires. Asking Zhuan Yi is perfect. PS. Second update. 4000/10,000. Chapter 152. Changes in the Elder. Besides the several exotic fires you possess, I do know information about several others. The Flame of Life, ranked 5th on the list of exotic fires, is in the hands of Elder Shenning, an alchemist on par with Yao Chen. The 8 Desolate Destruction Flame, ranked 6th on the list of exotic fires, the 9 Netherworld Golden Ancestral Flame, ranked 7th. The Red Lotus Karma Flame, ranked 8th. The Fire Cloud Water Flame, ranked 16, and the Volcano Stone Flame, ranked 17, are all in the hands of the Yan clan, one of the 8 ancient clans. The 9 Netherworld Wind Flame, ranked 10th on the list of exotic fires, and the Turtle Spirit Earth Flame, ranked 13th, are in the hands of the Yao clan, also of the 8 ancient clans. Zhuan Yi relayed his knowledge of all 8 exotic fires to Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara nodded, focusing his attention on the Yan and Yao clan, hoping it would be great if he could visit either one. At this moment, Zhuan Yi suddenly received a piece of information from the communication jade slip, and cried out in shock. How is this possible? What's wrong? Uchiha Madara asked. The Spirit Clan, one of the 8 ancient clans, was wiped out. Zhuan Yi gasped, unable to accept this. They were a family of Daodi bloodlines. How could they be wiped out so easily? Tell me more about it, Uchiha Madara asked, his brow furrowed slightly. The 8 ancient clans, which at least boasted a high-ranking Daosheng, were annihilated. Zhuan Yi then recounted the details. It turned out that not long ago, several powerful individuals had visited the Spirit Clan's space when it reopened. However, upon arrival, they discovered the Spirit Realm to be completely deserted, devoid of a single soul. Even the Spirit Clan's affiliated residents had vanished without a trace. Seeing the empty Spirit Realm, they froze in shock, a chill running from their feet to their heads. This was truly bizarre. The Spirit Clan, including their affiliated residents, numbered at least 1 million. And yet, so many people simply vanished into thin air. When this incident reached the ears of the other 8 ancient clans, it undoubtedly caused a huge shock. Each clan immediately dispatched its strongest warriors to the spirit world. However, no matter how hard they searched, they could not find a single spirit member, as if the spirit race had completely vanished. The spirit race, as one of the 8 ancient clans, had been declining in recent years, but even then, it was still a dominant power on the continent. Looking across the entire Dou Qi continent, even the most powerful ancient clans would find it difficult to wipe out the entire spirit race without anyone noticing. This incident immediately caused conflict among the 8 ancient clans. The 8 ancient clans were neither enemies nor friends, driven by mutual profit. Some speculated that one clan was intent on obtaining the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade. The Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade, a legacy of the last Dou Emperor, held the secret to achieving Dou Emperor status. The Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade was once split into 8 pieces during the fierce conflict among the 8 ancient clans. Anyone desiring to obtain the remains of the Tuosh Ancient Emperor must gather all 8 pieces of ancient jade. However, each clan values the jade more than their own lives, and naturally refuses to surrender it for nothing. Therefore, some speculate that the recent disappearance of the Spirit Clan may be the result of one of the 8 ancient clans, intent on obtaining the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade in their possession. Though the Spirit Clan has declined, its legacy remains. Of the 6 remaining clans, only 2 possess the ability to annihilate the Spirit Clan without detection: the Ancient Clan and the Soul Clan. The Ancient Clan is the most visible and unquestioned of the 8 ancient clans, their strength unquestioned. The Soul Clan, on the other hand, possesses the longest standing heritage of the 8 ancient clans, having existed since ancient times. Their true strength remains unknown. In previous wars among the 8 ancient clans, while the Soul Clan wasn't the most dominant, they never suffered a setback. Undefeated, in some ways, is even more terrifying. Therefore, the suspicions of the other 4 clans focused on the Ancient Clan and the Soul Clan. After hearing the entire story and the related speculation, Uchiha Madara immediately formed his own judgment. This was most likely the work of the Soul Clan. This world was bound to see another major event soon, and in the face of this event, anyone lacking sufficient strength would be in great danger. He must improve his strength as quickly as possible. It's conceivable that Zhang Zhao will undergo a major upheaval, Zuan Yi said with a sigh. Mr. Madara, please be careful. The Soul Palace may not be able to deal with you, but the Soul Clan possesses a 9-star Dao Sheng, and encountering them would be a formidable challenge. Uchiha Madara nodded in understanding, looking northwest. It was time to return to retrieve the fruit of the sacred tree. In the Blackhorn region, at Canon Academy, Xiao Yan was diligently cultivating in the Xianfen refining key tower. The capture of Yao Lao undoubtedly gave Xiao Yan a great shock. Over the past 3 years, Xiao Yan and Yao Lao have developed feelings for each other. Yao Lao has personally witnessed Xiao Yan's growth over the past 3 years. Xiao Yan's only hope now is to become stronger and stronger, and then attack the Soul Palace to save Yao Lao. With a deep breath, Xiao Yan concluded his training and left the Xianfen refining key tower. Now, he has become a powerful Dowling. Unfortunately, the good times of youth are short-lived. In the evening, in a meadow, Xiao Yan and Guzuna lay quietly on the grass. Guzuna turned her head to look at Xiao Yan, her eyes dimming slightly at the relaxed expression of the black-robed young man. Brother Xiao Yan, the scroll Zuna gave you, when you reach Dou Huang in the future, you must practice it well. Xiao Yan opened his eyes and smiled when he heard it. Of course, how can I not practice with all my heart for what you gave me? But you've been a little strange these past few days. Guzuna was slightly startled, her eyes avoiding Xiao Yan's gaze a little evasively. No, I don't think it's any different from before. Really? Xiao Yan smiled and was about to speak. At this moment, Guzuna vaguely sensed something. Her pretty face suddenly changed, and she hurriedly pushed Xiao Yan into the forest, saying anxiously, Brother Xiao Yan, hide inside quickly, don't come out. What's wrong? Are those people coming for you? Xiao Yan said with a gloomy face, grabbing Guzuna's hand. Guzuna gazed toward the sky, then with a push of her Dou Qi pushed Xiao Yan into the forest, instructing him, Brother Xiao Yan, suppress your aura, and don't let them discover you. As Guzuna pushed him into the forest, Xiao Yan's expression shifted. He couldn't understand why Zuna had suddenly become so anxious. Who on earth is that person? At this thought, a nameless rage rose within Xiao Yan. Meanwhile, Xianji's figure officially arrived, accompanied by the sound of breaking wind. PS. Third update, 6000/10,000. When I previously discussed my final meeting with Xiao Yan, the outline wasn't as detailed as it is now. I'd forgotten about the ancient emperor's cavern beneath Canon Academy. But this time, it seemed like it would truly be our last meeting. Chapter 153, Canon. As the sharp sound of breaking wind intensified, a moment later, black spots in the sky rapidly grew larger, finally appearing within sight. Gazing through the gaps in the leaves at the dozen or so black spots, Xiao Yan's face suddenly filled with shock. Those spots weren't human figures, but rather a dozen pitch black flying beasts with silver horns, their flight accompanied by the whistling of wind and thunder. Xiao Yan had never heard of or seen these unfamiliar beasts before, but that didn't stop him from knowing they were anything but ordinary. Xiao Yan's gaze drifted from the black-winged unicorns, finally settling on their broad backs. Xiao Yan was startled again. Standing on the back of each unicorn was a figure. These figures were dressed in purple-black clothing, and their gazes moved like incredibly sharp knives. Furthermore, Xiao Yan was horrified to discover that the aura of nearly every one of these 10 figures was as deep as a pool of water, unfathomable. Xiao Yan usually only sensed this kind of presence from the elders in the inner courtyard. In other words, they were all Dou Huang powerhouses. Over a dozen enormous four-winged unicorns flapped their wings, finally landing above the mountain stream. Their gazes swept towards the young woman in green standing on the grass. "Miss Zuna, we finally found you," a man said to Zuna as a black-winged unicorn in the foreground slowly descended. He appeared to be the leader of the group. "I'm Linquin, the new deputy commander of the Black Annihilation Army. I'm here to bring the young lady back by order of our clan leader." The man, calling himself Linquin, stood atop a black-winged unicorn and respectfully clasped his fists towards Zuna. "I said I'd be back, so why did you come all this way?" The sudden arrival of Linquin and the others chilled Zuna's expression, and even her words were tinged with coldness. "The clan leader has commanded us, so we can only obey." Linquin smiled faintly. Just as he was about to speak, his gaze suddenly fixed, darting into the forest. He said in a deep voice, "Who is eavesdropping?" As Linquin finished his shout, the 9 figures, standing motionless like statues on the back of the black-winged unicorn, suddenly turned cold. With a shudder, the 9 figures flashed into the forest almost simultaneously, followed by a deep crashing sound. In the sky, Uchiha Madara, who had already arrived at Canon Academy, raised a brow, as if sensing the presence of Xiao Yan. After another soul scan, Uchiha Madara understood. These were the people from the ancient clan, seeking to take Xiao Yan's childhood sweetheart away. It was time. The spirit clan had been annihilated. If the ancient clan didn't take their daughter back, she might be killed one day. Even the Dao Sheng has arrived. What a grand spectacle, Uchiha Madara chuckled, sensing a presence hidden in the void. "Well, since we've met, I'll stand up for Xiao Yan today." As he thought, a spatial rift appeared, and Uchiha Madara stepped into it. In the void, the ancient clan Dao Sheng frowned slightly. He had just sensed something was amiss. But then he shook his head. It must have been an illusion. There weren't many experts in this remote northwest. "Stop." Zuna's pretty face changed, and she shouted sternly. As Zuna's shout faded, a figure suddenly burst out of the forest, fluttering its wings, and hovering in mid-air, finally landing slowly beside Zuna. It was Xiao Yan, his clothes slightly disheveled. "Xiao Yan, are you okay?" Seeing Xiao Yan's rapid breathing, Zuna's pretty face fluttered. She was about to call out the familiar name, but alarm surged in her heart, and she could only feign calmness. Zuna's change of heart made Xiao Yan frown slightly. What's going on? After Xiao Yan flashed out of the woods, the 9 figures once again darted out as one, landing behind Linquin. Their gazes were like sharp knives, locked firmly on Xiao Yan. Linquin didn't fail to notice the change in Guzuna's expression. His eyes narrowed slightly, and he turned to look at Xiao Yan, tapping his forehead lightly with his fingers. Suddenly, he spoke with a half smile. If I'm not mistaken, this should be the Xiao family's once useless young master Xiao Yan, right? I've seen your portrait. Who are you? Xiao Yan asked gravely. Lin Kuan, deputy commander of the Black Annihilation Army. But there's no point in saying it. You, or the Xiao family, don't have the qualifications to even approach this level. Lin Kuan smiled. His voice was filled with blunt contempt. The Xiao family was now on the verge of extinction. Where was the glory of the ancient 8 clans? Hearing Lin Kuan's disdain for the Xiao family, Xiao Yan's expression darkened, and the Xuantan ruler slowly appeared in his hand. Shut up. The Xiao family and my clan have an alliance. How can you speak like that? Guzuna demanded. Lin Kuan smiled and said nothing, not arguing back. Young lady, that's true. But young lady, you'd better return with us quickly. There have been some recent changes on this continent. For your safety, our clan has sent a Dao Sheng level Grand Elder to accompany me this time. Young lady, you should understand the seriousness of this arrangement. Guzuna's brows furrowed in shock. With the Dao Sheng level elder following her, it seemed a lot had happened on the Dou Qi continent. It seemed they had to return today. I'll go back with you. Guzuna handed Xiao Yan a letter and whispered in his ear, before you reach Daozun, absolutely do not contact our clan. Brother Xiao Yan, Suna believes in you. The next moment, Guzuna turned, tapped the ground with her toes, and soared into the air. With a push in midair, she landed on a unicorn and, swept away by the gust of wind, soared into the distant sky. As Suna left, the 9 figures behind Lin Kuan also quickly boarded the unicorns, finally catching up at lightning speed, firmly protecting them. Staring intently at the receding unicorn, Xiao Yan felt a faint sense of desolation. His gaze returned, finally resting on Lin Kuan, who still stood there. He said calmly, Deputy Commander Lin Kuan, aren't you leaving yet? I'm not in a hurry. Lin Kuan smiled, but then her smile faded, and she fixed Xiao Yan with a cold gaze. I just want to remind you of one thing. With your achievements and the background of the now deceased Xiao family, you're no match for the young lady. Forget the young lady. It's best to pretend that the past never happened. The young lady holds an extremely important position in our clan. Only a truly powerful figure from the continent would be worthy of her. As for you, Xiao Yan, you're not even worthy. Lin Kuan's words brimmed with murderous intent. Just as Lin Kuan's murderous intent was slowly building, a faint, aged voice suddenly echoed across the grassy plains. Deputy Commander Lin Kuan, allowing you to enter the inner courtyard to search for someone was already the greatest mercy. Now you're trying to touch our students? The person who arrived was none other than Sukayan, the Daozang Master and Grand Elder of the Inner Court. PS. Layout, Progressive. 4th update. 8000/10,000. Chapter 154 The last meeting with Xiao Yan. Sukayan's appearance instantly brought a powerful aura to bear on Lin Kuan. After his battle with Uchiha Madara, Sukayan's personality had clearly changed, becoming more direct. For a moment, Lin Kuan's face flushed, and she was speechless. Great Elder, Xiao Yan said, moved by Sukayan's appearance. But at that moment, a vast boundless voice echoed from the sky, and the pressure on Lin Kuan instantly dissipated, instead shifting to Sukayan and Xiao Yan. I, a member of the ancient clan, am not someone you can discipline. Sukayan and Xiao Yan felt the overwhelming pressure, nearly breaking their bodies, and neither of them felt comfortable. Xiao Yan gritted his teeth, steeled his bones, and clenched his fists. So strong, so boundlessly strong, he had no hope of even catching up. Was this a Dao Sheng? His teacher, Yao Chen, at his peak, was only a Daozun. Strength, it was all strength. If he were truly powerful, as strong as a Dao Emperor, how could he be so powerless now? Above the sky, the ancient clan's Dao Sheng let out a soft woe. He had expected Xiao Yan to kneel down under such terrifying pressure. Immediately, the ancient clan's Dao Sheng's soul power surged again, attempting to bring Xiao Yan to his knees. But at that moment, a faint voice, accompanied by an even more powerful soul force, suddenly exploded from the sky. Ancient clan. So impressive. Following this voice, a soul storm instantly engulfed the entire sky. The ancient clan's Dao Sheng, previously standing aloft, was caught off guard and sent flying, collapsing heavily to the ground. Who are you, sir? How dare you interfere in the affairs of my ancient clan? The ancient clan's Dou Sheng said, somewhat embarrassed as he stood up. He hadn't even had the strength to fight back against that soul force just now. Even a soul in the late heaven realm might not possess such immense power. This person was definitely no ordinary person. Why wouldn't you dare? A pitch black spatial rift appeared in the sky, and a white figure emerged, uttering a scornful voice. This person was, of course, Uchiha Madara. In Madara's eyes, this ancient clan's Dou Sheng was very weak. The ancient Dou Sheng's Dou Qi realm was 1 star. Even before his soul reached the quasi-emperor realm, he could suppress it with soul power alone. And after reaching the quasi-emperor realm, crushing such a 1-star Dou Sheng would be a piece of cake. Uchiha Madara estimated that this 1-star Dou Sheng's soul realm was at most the middle stage of the celestial realm, not even the late celestial realm. A 5-star Dou Sheng and a soul palace master at the great perfection of the celestial realm would be nothing more than a stray dog before him. One wonders who gave this ancient Dou Sheng the courage. Suddenly, the overwhelming soul power directly pressed down upon the ancient Dou Sheng, forcing him to struggle. Mr. Madara. Upon seeing Uchiha Madara, Xiao Yan's face lit up with excitement, as if he had found a backer. He had left as a Dao Zun, and now, upon returning, he was a Dou Sheng. Sukan felt a mixture of relief and a helpless smile. This speed of realm advancement was truly unprecedented. The ancient clan's Dou Sheng's face sank, his body drenched in sweat. This soul power was simply too overwhelming. While he could have explained it earlier, by being caught off guard, now, despite mobilizing all his soul and Dou Qi to resist, it still had no effect. The incoming soul realm was likely at the great perfection of the celestial realm. This time, he had truly provoked a formidable opponent. Closing his eyes, the ancient clan's Dou Sheng steeled his resolve. In this remote northwest region, he would lose the battle, not the battle. Immediately, the ancient clan's Dou Sheng self-destructed a portion of his soul, briefly breaking free from Madara's restraints. He tore through a dimensional rift and fled in disgrace, carrying Lin Quan. Before departing, the ancient clan's Dou Sheng left a message. Sir, the ancient clan will remember this. Madara's expression darkened. With a wave of his hand, countless blazing yang release flames shot into the dimensional rift. Screams could be heard before the rift closed. To remain so arrogant in the face of Madara, this ancient clan's Dou Sheng was truly courageous. After driving away the ancient Dou Sheng, Uchiha Madara slowly descended. No one has entered the Magna world, right? Uchiha Madara said calmly. Sukan nodded, bowing as a gesture of thanks. No. Okay. Uchiha Madara nodded. Master Madara. Xiao Yan, standing beside him, said with fire in his eyes. But facing Xiao Yan's fiery gaze, Madara simply nodded slightly, dismissing the question. The son of the world might achieve great things in the future, but for Madara right now, it was of little importance. Xiao Yan wasn't surprised, but instead stared at Uchiha Madara, hesitating whether to ask him to become his disciple. However, Madara suddenly remembered something and said, I've rescued your teacher, and helped him refine a body. He should be close to the level of Dou Sheng. In a few days, once his soul and body have merged, he should come to you. Xiao Yan was stunned, then a look of joy appeared on his face, and the idea of becoming his disciple was abandoned. Now that his teacher had been rescued and regained his body, he didn't need to find a new one. I just wonder how powerful Madara-sama is now. I imagine he's nearing the peak of the continent. Uchiha Madara waved goodbye to the two, breaking through a dimensional rift, and heading to the heavenly burning refining tower. He could sense that the fruit of the sacred tree was almost ripe. At the entrance to the heavenly burning refining tower, a little purple-haired girl drooled profusely. Seeing the purple-haired girl, Madara's gaze flickered slightly, as if he sensed some movement within the Dragon Emperor's blood. Was this purple-haired girl from the Taixu ancient dragon clan? From the same clan as the old dragon? What are you doing here? Uchiha Madara asked directly. Xian, still drooling, replied unconsciously, the smell. The scent of heavenly treasures, stronger than ever. Xian possessed a treasure hunting ability, and at this moment, with the fruit of the sacred tree nearing maturity, she was naturally drawn to it. However, Xian's treasure hunting ability was indeed so strong that she could still sense the fruit of the sacred tree through a vast magna world. Of course, it is also possible that the strength of the fruit of the sacred tree is too high. Upon hearing this, Uchiha Madara immediately understood and was a little surprised. Is this because he sensed the fruit of the sacred tree? That's mine, don't think about it, Uchiha Madara said lightly. Upon hearing this, Xian suddenly came back to her senses and looked at Uchiha Madara. The familiar face immediately made Xian's face full of shock. How did this person come back? But since you want to go and see, then come with me. With that, Uchiha Madara picked up Xian and entered the Magna world. He felt that this little girl might have some relationship with the old dragon. P.S. The 5th update is completed. Tomorrow, there will be the same 5 updates. Chapter 155 Absorbing the Fruit of the Divine Tree. When Madara brought Chicken into the Magna world, he knocked her unconscious and used the strange fire to completely isolate her from the outside world. Otherwise, the allure of the sacred fruit from such close contact would likely have driven Chicken to death. Soon, Uchiha Madara arrived before the sacred tree. After dozens of days, coupled with the accelerated energy supply from numerous shadow clones, the heat in the entire Magna world had faded significantly, almost entirely absorbed by the sacred tree he had planted. The massive sacred tree took root throughout the Magna world, countless vines and branches spreading outward, creating a mysterious and profound atmosphere. At its center, a ripened sacred fruit hung. Is it ripe? Uchiha Madara examined the sacred fruit before him carefully. A wondrous pattern spread across the fruit, and Madara could sense the immense power contained within. Without hesitation, Madara swallowed the sacred fruit. As the fruit of the sacred tree entered his body, Madara instantly felt his entire body, including his soul, undergo a miraculous transformation. A vast, yet warm energy permeated his limbs and bones, continuously transforming his body. Both physical and spiritual energy, the fundamental energies upon which chakra synthesis relies, experienced a significant increase. Unconsciously, 9 pitch black truth-seeking jades appeared behind Uchiha Madara, and at the same time, Madara felt a new power brewing within him. It felt like he had refined the Dragon Emperor's blood essence, a tangible feeling of his entire body transforming towards a stronger state. Time passed, and 3 days quickly passed. When Uchiha Madara awoke again, countless white feathers, both tangible and intangible, floated down from the sky around him, like a true immortal descending to the earth. Madara felt a true elevation in his entire being and soul. He calmly stood up, and from his transformed body and soul, he refined physical and spiritual energy into chakra. He attached this energy to his fist and lightly struck a blow into the Magna world. Suddenly, a 1,000-foot high wave of magma churned within the Magna world, a vast magma storm swirling with earth-shaking power and a majestic aura. After Madara's life and soul levels had undergone a transformation, after consuming the second fruit of the divine tree, the chakra he now extracted was fundamentally different from his previous chakra. If the power of each unit of chakra he previously extracted was 1, then after consuming this fruit, the power of each unit of chakra he could produce was 10. Although Madara had already fused with the 10 tails, strictly speaking, he had not consumed the first fruit of the divine tree. Only when he entered 6 paths mode did his physique and soul experience a fundamental improvement. Now, even in normal mode, Madara could unleash immense power through chakra, and entering 6 paths mode would greatly enhance his power. Feeling the immense power within his body, Madara was undoubtedly delighted with this improvement. If he entered 6 paths mode again, he believed he could rival the strongest in the Dou Qi continent through the power of chakra alone. Because, when chakra, this fundamental energy, is strengthened, all chakra-based abilities will be enhanced. The jutsu, genjutsu, and bloodline networks will all be enhanced by orders of magnitude. Madara now surpasses Kaguya Satsuki, once the strongest in the Naruto world, by a significant margin. The fruit of the sacred tree Kaguya Satsuki consumed was either immature or absorbed ordinary energy from the ninja continent. The fruit of the sacred tree Madara consumed was first fully ripe, then absorbed the immense magma energy of the Magna world. The difference was immediately apparent. Uchiha Madara closed his eyes and began to test his current abilities. Fire style. Great fire extinguishing. A vast amount of fire style chakra flowed from Uchiha Madara's body, ascending through his meridians, finally bursting forth at his throat. Instantly, a surging sea of fire 10,000 meters long and 5,000 meters wide engulfed the entire Magna world, its temperature so intense that it seemed as if the entire Magna world were undergoing a baptism of hell. As expected, Uchiha Madara thought to himself that with this qualitative increase in chakra, his ninjutsu had also undergone a qualitative improvement. Susanoo. Complete. Madara's eyes transformed into the crimson eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, unleashing boundless and majestic power. A gigantic 10,000 foot tall giant slowly took shape, descending upon the Magna world. This giant, clad entirely in blue, adorned with a complete set of armor and weapons, resembled a true god descending from heaven. If the now completed Susanoo wielded a long sword, it could shatter an entire mountain range in a single blow. 6 paths. Shinra Tensei. Madara's eyes transformed from the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan into the Rinnegan, shimmering purple ripples. The next moment, a powerful burst of power erupted, sending an immense repulsive force radiating outward. The entire Magna within 100 miles was emptied out in that instant, transforming into waves that lashed out towards the magma beyond. For Madara now, numbers were meaningless. With an indiscriminate wide area attack like the 6 paths Shinra Tensei, no matter how many enemies attack simultaneously, the only path is death. Seeking Truth Jade. Attack. Uchiha Madara shouted softly, and the sage's staff materialized in his hand. One after another, jet black Seeking Truth Jade materialized, and then swiftly flew off into the distance, swiftly moving at the speed of light. The Seeking Truth Jade's speed was a full 10 times faster than before. Most people wouldn't even have time to react before being blasted into dust. After testing 4 abilities, Uchiha Madara smiled softly. This time, he could challenge that old dragon again. This time, he was determined to defeat him. Although there were still many abilities Madara hadn't tested, he already had a clear idea of the power he had gained after absorbing the Divine Tree Fruit, a 9-star Dao Sheng. You see, in addition to his existing abilities, consuming this Divine Tree Fruit also awakened a new one. Madara considered this ability one of the most absurd in the world. With the blessing of this ability, he did not think that the 9-star Dao Sheng could be compared with him now. Unless it was the legendary Dao Di, he was not afraid of any enemy. Thinking of this, Uchiha Madara hooked the unconscious Xian over, and while supporting Xian with his soul power, he slowly moved towards the deeper part of the Magna world, the ancient Emperor's cave. Old dragon, he's coming. P.S. I wrote this after careful consideration of the degree of amplification of this sacred tree fruit. The natural world of the ninja world is not much different from that of the earth, but it can create a 6 paths level powerhouse like Kaguya. The fundamentals of the Dou Qi continent are far beyond the ninja world, and such an amplification is not an exaggeration. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156. Goodbye Dragon Emperor. Father and daughter recognize each other. Inside the ancient Emperor's cave, Zhu Kun's face was solemn. He had just sensed a power rivaling his own in his prime. After being sealed within the ancient Emperor's cave for millennia, it was hard to say whether he could defeat this person who had arrived in this Magna world. Was it a 9-star Dao Sheng, coveting the Dao Emperor's power and possessing the Tuosh ancient Emperor Jade? As Zhu Kun pondered this, the space before him suddenly rippled. The next moment, a figure in a white robe and white hair appeared within the space. It's you. Zhu Kun exclaimed in shock. When Uchiha Madara arrived here a few days ago, his unleashed power barely rivaled that of a 1-star Dao Sheng, and his Dao Qi realm was only at the level of a 5-star Dao Zun. But now, Uchiha Madara's Dao Qi realm had reached the high-level semi-saint level, and the power he unleashed was truly astonishing. Such rapid advancement was truly astonishing to Zhu Kun. Uchiha Madara clenched his fists, unleashing the repulsive force of his Rinnegan without reserve. A massive aura preceded the devastating repulsive force, which then enveloped the entire space. What are you doing? Zhu Kun shouted, and a pillar of purple gold light, several thousand feet in size, blasted out, colliding with the repulsive force of the 6 paths Shinra Tensei. The resistance is fierce, Madara thought. He had already used nearly 70% of the 6 paths Shinratenso's power and still couldn't overwhelm this old dragon. Use a little more strength and completely crush this old dragon. Madara closed his eyes, then opened them again, raised his arms, and erupted with another devastating repulsive force. Under this new repulsive force, the purple gold light pillar was no longer able to withstand it. Zhu-Kun's entire body was exposed to the powerful repulsive force, and he was instantly sent flying. Zhu-Kun was beaten all the way to the edge of the ancient emperor's cave, where the dragon finally stopped due to the restraints set by the ancient emperor Tush within the cave. A stream of purple gold blood spurted out, and he looked at Uchiha Madara in disbelief. Shit. In just a few dozen days, he'd reached this level. Is this even human? Uchiha Madara's eyes continued to gleam, and his Rinnegan clones appeared, unleashing a 4-way assault on Zhu-Kun. He'd been taught a lesson the first time he'd encountered this old dragon. This time, he was determined to get even. After all, this old dragon was tough, so there was no need to worry too much. After 2 full hours, Uchiha Madara finally stopped. By then, Zhu-Kun's body was covered in bruises, looking horrified. Enough. Zhu-Kun said weakly, lying on the ground. He'd considered resisting at first, but his size, coupled with the 4 Rinnegan clones of Uchiha Madara, allowed them to seamlessly attack him. He'd tried to resist, but he hadn't found the opportunity. Moreover, realizing that Uchiha Madara was only beating him, not killing him, Zhu-Kun lay flat on his back, like a salty dragon. Uchiha Madara remained silent, a smile playing on his lips. He woke the unconscious Xiao Yan and handed her over to Zhu-Kun. This little girl, the Dragon Emperor blood you gave me is reacting to her. She must be connected to you. Really? Zhu-Kun looked at Xiao Yan with confusion. Uchiha Madara was found in just 1 month. Could it be that easy? Upon seeing Xiao Yan, Zhu-Kun was stunned. He sensed an extremely familiar scent of blood within her. It was the blood of his own ancestry, a bloodline only his only child could possess. Child. Zhu-Kun's majestic golden eyes softened almost instantly. His heart, dormant for countless years, began to surge. He stared at Xiao Yan and muttered. Xiao Yan, newly awakened, glanced around, a bit dazed. She spotted Uchiha Madara and then looked back at Zhu-Kun. Who are you? Zhu-Kun, almost instantly appearing before Xiao Yan, glanced at her pretty face. A complex smile suddenly crossed his resolute features, and he sighed softly. You look just like your mother. Have you seen my mother? Xiao Yan's expression changed, and she stared at Zhu-Kun in disbelief. But when she took in his golden eyes, a strange feeling welled up in her heart. This strange feeling caused her body to tremble slightly. She bit her silver teeth, her lips red, and reached out her jade hand, grasping Zhu-Kun's. As their hands touched, brilliant golden light emanated from both of them, merging perfectly at the point where their palms met. A terrifying pressure permeated the music. You. She stared blankly at the perfectly intertwined golden light. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's eyes fluttered violently, and she pulled her hand back, as if struck by an electric shock. Her gaze, now icy, grew colder as she stared at Zhu-Kun. Child. Seeing Xiao Yan's face suddenly turn cold, Zhu-Kun felt a bit bewildered. Clearly inexperienced with such situations, he could only rub his hands. He stared at Xiao Yan nervously, completely unsure how to begin. I'm an orphan, without a father or a mother, Xiao Yan said in a cold voice, yet a hint of poignancy lingered in her words. Back then, Xiao Yan had lived alone in the deep mountains of the Blackhorn region. Despite her youthful talent, life had been difficult. Later, after accidentally ingesting immature transformation grass, she was brought back to the inner courtyard by Great Elder Sukayan, though she remained all alone. This gluttonous and clever little girl harbored a hidden pain in her heart. Xiao Yan stood stubbornly, tears welling in her eyes as she spoke. This was the scene she had longed for most. She had dreamed of it countless times. It's my fault. It's my fault. I shouldn't have coveted the ancient emperor's cave. It's all that bastard Tuo's ancient emperor's fault. He set me up, keeping me trapped for so long. Seeing the tears in Xiao Yan's eyes, Zhu-Kun panicked and frantically tried to step forward. Child, don't cry, don't cry. It's all my fault. From now on, whatever you ask me to do, I'll do it. If you don't believe me, I swear I'll do anything. Uchiha Madara watched quietly from the side. Zhu-kun, once a formidable figure in the Dou Qi continent, now looked like this. Perhaps it's like this for everyone. After reaching a certain level of strength, one always craves precious emotions, and cherishes them especially. After achieving success, with most people seeking friendship, personality aside, the gap in strength and vision makes it difficult to truly become friends. This is true for Zhu-kun, and so is it for him. Life is like this. PS. Second update. Due to the pandemic, I'm a bit busy today, so I don't know if I can make it to the 5th update. I'm not a full-time employee. Regarding my studies, I've been preparing for studying abroad. I'm going to finish the tasks I planned to do today before writing this. I'll try to finish as many as I can. Chapter 157. Changes in the Stone Clan. Promise me everything, and you'll find me countless rare treasures in the future. For years, you've been like this little girl, never growing up at all, Xiao Yan said, her eyes moist. Okay, when I go out, I'll not only find you rare treasures, but also 9th grade elixirs, Zhu-kun said with a hint of heartache. He knew the immense energy required for the Taixu ancient dragon clan to reach adulthood. After all, they were a race that achieved Daozun status upon reaching adulthood. And Xiao Yan, like him, was of the same royal bloodline of the Taixu ancient dragon clan. Without help, she might not reach adulthood for hundreds of years. 9th grade elixirs, are you serious? Don't lie to me, Xiao Yan asked. Because of her time at Canon Academy, the current little Xiao Yan's horizons were far inferior to those of the future female dragon emperor of ancient Dragon Island. Forget 9th grade elixirs, even 8th grade elixirs were beyond the reach of the current little Xiao Yan. Of course, Zhu-kun thought, wanting to produce a few high grade elixirs to prove herself. However, trapped here for millennia, he had consumed all the high grade elixirs he had on hand, leaving him with no more. For a moment, Zhu-kun felt a bit awkward as he faced Xiao Yan's expectant gaze. 10 8th grade elixirs, as repayment for your Dragon Emperor's blood. Bang watched from the side, flicking his ring and casually tossing a elixir bottle to Zhu-kun. Okay. Zhu-kun took the elixir bottle, a smile on his face. This time, he felt he had gotten his job done. Zhu-kun took the elixir bottle and placed it in Xiao Yan's hand. Here are 10 8th grade elixirs. I promise you, although there are only 10 now, I will give you as many 8th grade elixirs as you want in the future. I will also do my best to find 9th grade elixirs for you, Zhu-kun said solemnly. Xiao Yan, breathing in the rich aroma of the elixir bottle, nodded vigorously, found a spot to crouch down, and began to consume the elixir. Uchiha Madara glanced at Xiao Yan. After consuming 10 8th grade pills, even the bloodline of the Taixu ancient dragon clan would have enough energy to sustain her until adulthood. However, the little girl's own strength was still too limited, only at the level of a Dou Huang. Even with the formidable constitution of the Taixu ancient dragon king clan, consuming just 1 8th grade pill would still require her to sleep for several months. To reach adulthood through the consumption of pills, or Daozun, would require at least several years of sleep. As expected, after consuming the 8th grade pill, Xiao Yan immediately fell into a deep sleep due to the overwhelming energy. Uchiha Madara returned his gaze to the Dragon Emperor Zhu-kun and stated a fact. If you want to find her a 9th grade pill, you must first find a way to escape this ancient emperor's cave mansion. Otherwise, you won't be able to obtain even an 8th grade pill, let alone a 9th grade one. Hearing this, Zhu-kun suddenly felt a headache. He must be trying to escape the ancient emperor's cave mansion. I've been trapped here for thousands of years. How could I not want to escape the ancient emperor cave? But the seal of the Tosha ancient emperor is far too strong. Without the 8 fragments of the Tosha ancient emperor jade to form the Tosha ancient emperor jade and bring the ancient emperor cave back to light, I'm afraid I won't be able to escape at all, Zhu-kun said. I have some news for you. Someone has already started openly collecting the Tosha ancient emperor jade, Uchiha Madara said. Really? Zhu-kun's eyes lit up. Really? I estimate you'll be free in a year at most, a few months at least. Uchiha Madara folded his arms. Ha 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 ha, that's fantastic. Zhu-kun burst into laughter. After being trapped in the ancient Emperor cave for thousands of years, he could finally see the light of day again. I've told you. I'm leaving now. See you in a few months. When the ancient Emperor cave opens, I'll definitely be nearby. You'll know what to do then. Uchiha Madara opened a dimensional rift and stepped inside. Zhu Kun's eyes remained radiant. Of course, he knew what to do. It took Ban quite some time to absorb the fruit from the sacred tree. During this time, another major event occurred in Zhongzhou. The Stone Clan, one of the 8 ancient clans, mysteriously vanished once again, following the Spirit Clan's disappearance. For a moment, everyone felt a sense of uncertainty looming over Zhongzhou. While the Stone Clan wasn't as formidable as the Soul Clan, the strongest of the 8 ancient clans, to be among them, no one was a simple specimen. The Stone Clan had always kept a low profile, and rumors of them were rare in Zhongzhou. But being low-key didn't necessarily mean being weak. The Stone Clan was known for their formidable combat prowess, at least significantly stronger than the first Spirit Clan to vanish. They were teeming with Daosheng masters, possessing immense power and influence. A single stomp of their foot could send a tsunami through Zhongzhou. Yet, the thought of such a powerful superpower, possessing such immense power, mysteriously vanishing overnight, filled one with a chilling feeling. The Stone Clan's disappearance mirrored that of the Spirit Clan. Before their disappearance, space suddenly closed, and when it reopened, millions of people vanished, leaving not a single one behind. What kind of terrifying being could pull off such a feat? News of this quickly spread throughout Zhongzhou, shocking all factions. Some felt a vague sense of aversion. If the first time was a fluke, the second time again, no one would believe it. The identical method used by both clans made it clear the culprits must be the same individual or force. Only the ancient clan in the Soul Clan, the strongest of the 8 ancient clans, could pull this off. Suspicion immediately descended upon these two factions. The Soul Clan, as usual, remained silent, remaining silent. This left the ancient clan vulnerable. Lacking concrete evidence to prove their innocence to the other 3 clans, they too remained silent. Because of the silence of the ancient clan in the Soul Clan, the only 3 remaining clans among the 8 ancient clans, the Medicine Clan, the Thunder Clan, and the Flame Clan, announced an alliance and used great means to connect their respective spaces. If one of them was attacked, the other 2 could quickly provide support through the space channel. At the same time, the Medicine Clan decided to hold a pharmacopoeia conference in advance to prove who was the world's #1 alchemist. They invited powerful people from all walks of life and publicly stated that, if the mastermind had the guts, they could attack them in the pharmacopoeia. They, the Medicine Clan, would make sure that the mastermind would never return. Madara didn't know about this yet, because he was currently doing something that would also shock Zhongzhou. This thing was to eradicate all the branches of the Soul Palace in Zhongzhou. PS 2000/16000. Chapter 158, Destroying the Soul Palace Branch. Not counting the 8 ancient clans, whose presence is limited to the eyes of the elite, the prominent powers of Zhongzhou consist of 1 hall, 1 pagoda, 2 sects, 3 valleys, and 4 pavilions. Soul Hall, as the leading hall, is considered by many in Zhongzhou to be the most respected, the most powerful, and the most inviolable. Anyone who single-handedly seeks to defy the entire Soul Hall would undoubtedly be considered wishful thinking. However, the events of the past few days have left the people of Zhongzhou with a sense of change. The Soul Hall's 24 most important branches of the Earthly Demon Hall in Zhongzhou have been uprooted one after another. None of the 24 branches have been spared. Furthermore, the Soul Hall has already laid a tight net across the last few branches, but ultimately, it has been to no avail. This is utterly unimaginable to the people of Zhongzhou. According to leaked information, the total number of Daozun involved in the 24 branches is close to 3 digits. The only possibility for someone capable of such a deed, openly declaring war on the Soul Palace, was that their Dou Qi realm was that of the legendary Daosheng. Only a Daosheng could so brazenly challenge the might of such a vast power. Then, as the people of Zhongzhou speculated whether this mysterious Daosheng would challenge the 3 heavenly gang halls, each helmed by a Daosheng, a shocking fact emerged: the human hall of the Soul Palace's 3 heavenly gang halls had been annihilated. This news immediately plunged Zhang Zhao into a frenzy of discussion, with everyone eagerly anticipating the outcome. Would this mysterious Dao Sheng once again attack the Soul Palace's earthly hall? And who would emerge victorious in the struggle between this formidable power and this Dao Sheng? The ultimate outcome was a difficult question for the people of Zhang Zhao. But for Uchiha Madara, the instigator of this incident, there was only one clear answer: the Soul Palace would be annihilated by him. Ideally, his actions would attract the Soul Clan's leader, allowing him to engage in battle with perhaps the continent's strongest individual. This was exactly what he desired. Within a mountain range, shrouded in black fog, a vast black palace loomed. This was the Soul Palace's heavenly palace, the Xiangang Palace, guarded by the Soul Palace's master, the 5-star Dao Sheng, Han Misheng. As for the earthly palace, guarded by the Soul Palace's deputy master, it had been strategically abandoned. This strategic abandonment meant that no Soul Palace members remained in this branch of the Soul Palace, and all its soul essences had been transferred to the Heavenly Palace. This was Han Misheng's own decision. During the battle with the Pure Lotus demonic fire, Han Misheng knew that Uchiha Madara's soul had surpassed the great perfection of the heavenly realm, and was practically heading towards the Emperor realm. Although Uchiha Madara's own Dou Qi realm was only that of a high-level semi-saint, he was undoubtedly the only one in the entire Soul Palace capable of dealing with him. He had long managed the Soul Palace and the Heavenly Palace, where he had many hidden cards. If Uchiha Madara dared to attack the Heavenly Palace, he would make sure he never returned. Thinking this, Han Misheng glanced at the pitch black flames surrounding him. This was a fraction of the void devouring flame, ranked second on the list of unusual flames. Although only a fraction, most people would be completely powerless against it, a source of Han Misheng's confidence. Han Misheng suddenly stood up and gazed toward the distant mountain range. There, a powerful spatial fluctuation was emerging. You actually dared to come here, Han Misheng chuckled. Uchiha Madara, in a sense, was indeed a remarkable figure. Yes, ignorance is bliss. Today, Uchiha Madara was destined to die at Han Misheng's hands. In the sky, a pitch black spatial rift was torn apart. Madara calmly emerged from this dimensional rift, overlooking the heavenly palace of the Soul Palace and the heavenly Gang Palace below like a god. His domineering aura, arrogance, and pride were unmatched. Uchiha Madara gazed at the Soul Palace, his mind briefly pondering. He chose to attack the Soul Palace for two main reasons. First, the Soul Palace contained a vast amount of soul essence, which he undoubtedly needed greatly. Based on his previous experience, if he could absorb even more soul essence, he would be able to truly enter the realm of the Emperor Soul, or more accurately, the realm of the Emperor Soul under the rules of this continent. After absorbing the fruit of the divine tree, his soul had undergone a qualitative transformation. While the quantity might remain the same, the quality was a world apart. Even against a true Emperor Soul, he was confident he could defeat them head-on in a contest of soul power. Second, the Soul Palace was backed by the Soul Clan. After absorbing the fruit of the divine tree, Madara's intuition had become increasingly sharp. Alternatively, after absorbing the fruit of the divine tree, Madara awakened a true ability to foresee the future, allowing him to predict the general direction of many events. In Madara's opinion, the Soul Clan was a crucial factor in the future direction of this world. Therefore, Madara increasingly hoped that the Soul Clan, the pillars of the Soul Palace, would step forward. At this thought, Uchiha Madara closed his eyes slightly, a surge of chakra brewing within his body. From his spiritual perception, the Soul Palace's master had already begun to move. So, let him say hello first. A white robe bearing the symbol of a sage rose behind Madara, and his imposing jet black hair transformed into a transcendental celestial white. Jet black truth-seeking jade swirled behind him. Uchiha Madara formed seals with his hands, and a vast sea of fire suddenly surged forth, as if the sun in the sky had burned down directly, sending the temperature skyrocketing within 100 miles. Fire release. Great fire extinguishing. On the ground, Han Misheng had just emerged when he saw a vast sea of fire sweeping across the heavens and earth, charging straight towards the Soul Palace's heavenly palace. Exhausting your own Dou Qi like this? Are you crazy? Han Misheng cursed inwardly. He could sense the immense power contained in the great fire extinguishing before him. A high-level semi-saint would likely have to exhaust all his Dou Qi to unleash this attack. Doing this right off the bat, Hanmi Sheng wondered if Uchiha Madara was being overconfident or just arrogant. But Hanmi Sheng knew he had to do something. Everyone inside the Soul Palace, form a massive formation. Protect the collected soul essence. I'll deal with this person. With a loud shout and a series of instructions to the Soul Palace, a torrent of black mist erupted from Hanmi Sheng, violently colliding with the vast sea of fire in the sky. A terrifying battle is about to unfold. PS. Second update. 4,000 words/16,000 words. Estimating my own limits, I probably won't be able to write 8 updates today. 5 or 6 is more likely. If I can't finish, just remember to make up for it tomorrow. Building on the 4,000 words. Chapter 159. Fighting Soul Destruction. The surging black mist and the world-encompassing red sea of fire emanated a sizzling, melting sound the moment they collided. Neither side yielded, and the red sea of fire even threatened to overwhelm the black mist. What was going on? Hanmi Sheng was a bit surprised. Before the actual clash, although Uchiha Madara's earth-shattering red sea of fire appeared more ferocious than his black mist, Hanmi Sheng remained confident in his own abilities. The reason was simple. The concentration of Dou Qi of a high-level semi-saint was on a completely different level than that of his 5-star Dou Sheng. Given the same attack volume, or if the high-level semi-saint's attack volume wasn't excessive, a 5-star Dou Sheng would have been able to absolutely crush the opponent in a head-on collision. But now, his attack was actually inferior to Uchiha Madara's. Didn't this mean that the Dou Qi concentration of a high-level semi-saint was even greater than that of a 5-star Dou Sheng? Absolutely impossible. The gap between a 5-star Dou Sheng and a high-level semi-saint isn't the same as the gap between a peak Grand Dou Master and a 5-star Dowling. It's absolutely impossible to bridge. This was Hanmi Sheng's truest thought. Even the genius he'd met, the current head of the Soul Clan, Xiao Yan, didn't possess such power. And in truth, Hanmi Sheng's thoughts were indeed sound. Unfortunately, Madara wasn't using Dou Qi, but rather chakra. As mentioned earlier, after absorbing the second divine tree fruit, Madara's chakra became significantly stronger than before. His previous chakra might have held its own against opponents at or below the Daozun level. However, after undergoing the 9 transformations of Daozun and the repeated tempering of Dou Sheng, Dou Qi was undoubtedly a far superior force on an energy level. The divine tree fruit was indeed incredibly powerful. Madara's current chakra strength was considered exceptional, even compared to the Dou Qi of all Dou Shengs within the entire 9-star Dou Sheng realm. Something, but this level alone isn't enough to deal with me. Hanmi Sheng chuckled inscrutably, after increasing his Dou Qi output, finally neutralizing Uchiha Madara's Haohuo annihilation. To outsiders, Hanmi Sheng seemed to have mastered his aura. Unfortunately, Madara didn't give Hanmi Sheng a chance to continue his pretense. A deep lightning-fast sonic boom echoed beside Hanmi Sheng's ears. The moment the boom resounded, the space before Hanmi Sheng shifted, and a ghostly figure emerged, striking out with a powerful punch. Hanmi Sheng's face paled. He hadn't expected Uchiha Madara to strike so decisively. Furthermore, the speed of that spatial movement hadn't even caught him off guard. His spatial abilities were undeniably impressive. No low-star Dou Sheng could rival Uchiha Madara. Hanmi Sheng acted swiftly, and black mist gathered around him reflexively, rapidly transforming into a solid black barrier. However, Madara's punch remained undeterred by the black barrier's deceptive power, charging forward relentlessly. Instantly, the black barrier shattered, and Madara's fist slammed directly into Hanmi Sheng's head, a fatal blow. Hanmi Sheng snorted coldly, his heroic nature revealed. He remained unmoved by Uchiha Madara's attack, counter-attacking with a palm strike aimed directly at Uchiha Madara's heart. Clearly, Hanmi Sheng was employing a life-for-life strategy. At this point, the battle came down to mental fortitude. Whoever showed the weaker mental fortitude would be the first to fear, forced to adapt, and ultimately lose the fight. Half a meter, 30 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 5 centimeters. Their attacks drew ever closer, but neither showed any intention of halting their attacks. From the moment they struck, they were certain that the one who gave in first would be their match. Uchiha Madara's lips curled slightly as he punched Qmite's head, blasting it apart in a cloud of black mist. The next moment, Madara was also struck hard by Qmite's palm, his heart shattering. Ha 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 ha. Qmite, you're quite good. Madara laughed, unconcerned with the wound in his heart. After absorbing the second fruit of the sacred tree, he no longer had any real weaknesses. He could heal any wound by consuming chakra. Even if he were blasted to the point of being reduced to mere flesh and blood, as long as his soul remained, he could rapidly regenerate his entire body. The amount of chakra required to heal wounds was relatively small, while his own chakra reserves were indescribably vast. The possibility of him using up all his chakra to heal his own wounds was impossible. There were only two ways to deal with him now. The first was to attack his soul directly, crushing it to smithereens with a power far superior to his own. This method was clearly impractical. In this Dou Qi continent, there were probably only a handful of people with soul power greater than Madara's. There was no one with soul power far exceeding Madara's. The second method was to seal him. Just as in Naruto, Sasuke and Naruto could only defeat Kaguya Satsuki through the 6 paths Chibaku Tensei technique, so too could anyone in the Dou Qi continent who wanted to deal with Uchiha Madara using a sealing technique that could seal the very source of his power. However, while there were some sealing methods available in the Dou Qi continent, given Madara's combat acumen, it remained uncertain whether any sealing technique could truly defeat him. Chakra surged forth, instantly filling the gaping hole in Madara's heart and restoring him to his full power. Opposite Madara, the vast black mist took a full second to coalesce into the form of Soul Mist's head. Furthermore, after the mist coalesced, it was noticeable that Soul Mist's aura had weakened. Clearly, this had taken a significant toll on Soul Mist. After focusing again, Hanmi Sheng looked at Uchiha Madara, who was unharmed, and even had the urge to laugh out loud. He felt a sense of fear and couldn't help but laugh at himself. It was a bit ridiculous. He had always been able to make others feel fear, but he was actually scared by a high-level semi-saint. Thinking of this, Hanmi Sheng closed his eyes. A strange aura slowly flowed out of Hanmi Sheng's body. With the appearance of this strange aura, a dark flame appeared between heaven and earth. Come on. He, Hanmi Sheng, will not lose. PS. Chapter 3, 6000/16,000. Chapter 160, Void Swallowing Flame. Oh. Uchiha Madara let out a soft HMM. He sensed a strange fire in the pitch black flames. And, if it turned out as he expected, it should be a very powerful one. With that thought, Uchiha Madara casually held out a tricolor Dendra flower to test Hanmi Sheng. A massive flame exploded around Hanmi Sheng, creating a monstrous wave of flaming air. A dark figure loomed in the aftermath, and just as it appeared, an extremely strange suction force suddenly and overwhelmingly swept out, sucking the surrounding Hanmi Sheng away. The Soul Palace members watching below couldn't help but gasp in surprise. Palace Master, he absorbed the strange fire directly? Hanmi Sheng's actions immediately drew a chorus of shouts, clearly demonstrating the incredible nature of his actions. Unharmed? Uchiha Madara's lips curled up again, watching Hanmi Sheng slowly emerge from the flames, his interest growing even higher. Easily absorbing his tree-colored Indra flower, this kind of strange fire would rank at least in the top 5 of the strange fire rankings. The strange fire tastes delicious indeed, but it's a shame it's not the original fire. I really want to try it. What does the original fire you possess taste like? Hanmi Sheng stood in the sky, smacking his lips. A strange and eerie smile graced his face. Black flames, brimming with a strange devouring power, seeped out, and the energy of the surrounding heaven and earth was continuously drawn into his body, completely devoured by that strange power. Isn't it incredible? Hanmi Sheng smiled softly, the strangeness on his face growing more vivid. You possess strange fire, indeed, but I possess a fire even more powerful than that. Hanmi Sheng slowly extended his hand, and a strange black flame suddenly emerged. The black flame swirled, faintly converging into a human face. Waves of devouring power surged from its mouth. Dark, devouring, and eerie. As expected, Hanmi Sheng held the void devouring flame, ranked second on the strange fire list. The void devouring flame, ranked second on the strange fire list, was born from the void, formless, and invisible. On some level, the void devouring flame could be considered a truly bizarre existence, known as the devourer of heaven and earth, possessing the power to consume all things. Only a handful of beings in the universe could rival the void devouring flame's devouring power, but the void devouring flame existed only in legend, with no known evidence of its existence. If you didn't take the road to heaven, you bargain. Since he'd brought the void devouring flame with him, don't blame him for being rude. But the next moment, after taking a closer look at the void devouring flame, Uchiha Madara frowned. Han Misheng, this is just a seed fire of the void devouring flame? You're trying to fool me with a seed fire. Do you know what will happen? Uchiha Madara already possessed 7 different kinds of fire. Furthermore, having awakened abilities related to future foresight, after absorbing the fruit of the sacred tree, he could not hide many things from him. The void devouring flame in Han Misheng's hands, while possessing a powerful devouring force, lacked continuity. It was not the primordial fire that could be endlessly regenerated. Han Misheng grasped the black flame with a human face in his hand, a hint of amazement. I've heard you're an expert at playing with fire. Previous reports said you wield a total of 7 different kinds of fire. Today, I see that your reputation is well deserved. So what if it's just a seed fire? I'll be able to deal with you. Han Misheng raised his hand, and the human face formed from the black flame in his hand suddenly opened its mouth and bit down fiercely on his palm. The next moment, Han Misheng's Dou Qi surged out continuously, finally being completely swallowed by the black flame. As the Soul Palace Master's Dou Qi was devoured by the black flames, his complexion paled slightly, but the black flames grew increasingly powerful. Finally, the void devouring flames let out a sharp whistle, and its body, once the size of a head, swung and stretched nearly 100 feet. Suddenly, black flames blazed in the sky, as if hell had descended. Northeast. A gigantic human-faced black flame floated in the sky, its dark eyes fixed on Uchiha Madara. A faint sound of swallowing saliva could be heard, making the flame appear even more eerie. Master Swallowing Flame, kill him. Soul Misheng showed surprising respect for the black flame, his address seeming quite unusual. GG. Upon hearing this, the black flame let out a few eerie cries, then erupted in flames, darting through space with ghostly speed, sealing off the entire area around Uchiha Madara. Lines of black fire spread out, like a prison, trapping him. What a delicious taste. The black flame squirmed, and a gigantic human face appeared before Madara, shrieking with a strange, shrill laugh. Be good and let me devour you. Boom. As the black flame's shrill laugh descended, a terrifying, devouring force suddenly erupted from the surrounding space. Madara sneered. How dare a spawn of fire be so arrogant in front of him? Since the spawn of fire had appeared, its true form must be among the Soul Clan. After dealing with this spawn, we'll deal with the true form. From Madara's body, a palm-sized baby girl slowly floated out, and uttered a cry. You want to deal with it? Madara understood. Tuanchan, who had now fused 7 different kinds of fire, didn't believe this spawn of the void devouring flame was any stronger than him. Madamada. Alright. After receiving confirmation once more, Uchiha Madara nodded. The next moment, Tuanchan flew towards the void devouring flame, its small body exploding. Immediately, an equally pitch black sea of fire suddenly spread across the sky. The black flame prison formed by the void black flame was instantly and forcefully detonated. Immediately, the pitch black flame swirled in reverse, transforming into an even larger flaming prison that trapped the void black flame's enormous face. This sudden change startled the void black flame, and it quickly unleashed its devouring power. However, under the personal control of Tuanchan, the strange fire spirit, each wisp of flame possessed its own consciousness. If the void black flame itself had devoured it, the outcome might have been unpredictable, but how could a mere fire sap dare challenge it? Tuanchan, completely oblivious to the void black flame's devouring power, swirled in flames, and transformed into a giant infant nearly the size of the giant face. Then, amidst countless stunned gazers, the giant infant pinned the giant face down and bit it, seemingly intending to devour the void black flame's sap. Good. Uchiha Madara shouted. This move was quite characteristic of him. PS. 4th update, 8000/16000. Chapter 161 6 Paths Shinra Heavenly Expedition. There can't be 2 tigers on one mountain, nor can there be 2 peaks standing on the same peak. This is true for all things, whether spiritual or not. There can only be one first place. The battle between flames is naturally no different. Squeak. After being viciously bitten by Dou Huang, the human face transformed by the void devouring flame couldn't help but let out a shrill scream. The void devouring flame struggled, its black flames surging endlessly, madly engulfing Dou Huang. Dou Huang ignored the void devouring flame's resistance. The pitch black flames condensed into a crystalline armor on its body, and no matter how much the void devouring flame unleashed its devouring force, it couldn't forcefully draw the energy from Dou Huang. Bang bang. While resisting the void devouring flame's devouring power, Dou Huang's clenched fists repeatedly struck the void devouring flame. With each swing of his fist, a ball of flame penetrated the void devouring flame. Soon, the void devouring flame's form became somewhat ethereal. "You bastard. How dare you hurt me?" The feeling of collapse emanating from within him also caused a flicker of fear in void devouring flame. Oh my god. Dou Huang, now increasingly intelligent, heard void devouring flame's furious roar. A fierce look crossed his face once again, and he clutched at void devouring flame's enormous, human-like face. Raging flames erupted from his palm, enveloping void devouring flame. You dare to refine me? You're courting death." Dou Huang's action instantly brought fear to void devouring flame's face. In all these years, he had never seen anything capable of withstanding his devouring power. But this time, his prized ability was completely useless. "Oh no, I've lost contact with the element fire." Han Misheng, not far away, also had a sudden change of expression. At that moment, he realized that his connection to the element fire of void devouring flame had been completely severed. Han Misheng's eyes flashed rapidly, and with a gritted teeth, he soared into the sky. Although this was only a ray of void devouring flame, he had painstakingly obtained it from his clan. If he could slowly refine it, he would possess some devouring power, a powerful weapon in combat. If it were lost, it would be hard to explain to the clan, so no matter what, it couldn't be allowed to happen. "Who gave you permission to move?" Uchiha Madara flashed, and a punch flew out, unleashing a torrent of energy that sent Han Misheng flying. He was right in front of him, trying to move past him. It was ridiculous. How could he possibly let that happen? Seeing Uchiha Madara's hand blocking his way, Han Misheng's face turned cold. He didn't care that the void devouring flame had previously consumed a lot of his internal Dou Qi. He moved forward and launched an extremely fierce and ferocious attack directly at Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara sneered, met his attack, and began to crush Han Misheng one-sidedly. Without the void devouring flame, who gave this man the courage to think he could even fight him? As Madara and soul extinguishing Sheng engaged in another fierce clash, the void devouring flame exploded in the sky, swallowed whole by Dou Huang. The void devouring flame ranked second on the list of strange fires, and even leaving aside the Tush ancient emperor, who had already shed his strange fire body, it was undoubtedly the most powerful of the strange fires. But now, the void devouring flame was merely a seed fire, and Dou Huang devoured it. It was simply too easy. After devouring the void devouring flame, Dou Huang patted his stomach in satisfaction, his body swirling, and he returned to his palm-sized form. Observing the ongoing battle between Madara and soul extinguishing Sheng, Dou Huang waved his little hand, and a stream of Indra flowers spun around his body, his chubby little hand pointing directly at soul extinguishing Sheng. "Madara, I'll fight." With Dou Huang's voice, dozens of Indra flowers formed a line, swiftly streaking across the sky, bombarding soul extinguishing Sheng. Boom, boom, boom. The Indra flowers exploded continuously, a terrifying wave of flames sweeping across with terrifying heat. Dou Huang's casually condensed Indra flowers, though each composed of just two different kinds of strange fire, their simultaneous explosion triggered a chain reaction of astonishing power. Even though Han Misheng was a 5-star Dao Sheng, he could only groan in pain. His body shattered in a puff of green smoke as he retreated rapidly through the sky. After retreating thousands of feet through the sky, Han Misheng finally managed to steady himself, swallowing the blood rushing to his throat, a hint of shock in his eyes. Clearly, he hadn't expected this seemingly insignificant fire infant to possess such formidable combat capabilities. Well done. Madara closed his eyes, after absorbing Dou Huang back into his body, the power of his Samsara rise accumulating. Han Misheng's strength was nearly complete, and after absorbing the fruit of the sacred tree, suppressing Han Misheng with a flick of his hand was a piece of cake. Now that he understood, there was no point in Han Misheng's continued existence. The next moment, a massive repulsive force engulfed the entire sky. With Uchiha Madara at its center, the incredibly fierce wave of air rushed towards Han Misheng and the Soul Temple's heavenly palace. 6 paths. Shinra Tensei. Madara shouted. The boundless repulsive force flattened the surrounding towering mountains. The entire range was undergoing drastic changes. The landscape transformed in entire sections. Anyone who visited this place again would never imagine that it had once been a vast expanse of towering mountains. Not only was the terrain destroyed, but the Soul Temple's heavenly palace was also destroyed. Before Madara's 6 paths Shinra Tensei, the Soul Temple's protective formation, capable of withstanding the attacks of even the most powerful Daosheng, was rendered useless, crumbling in the blink of an eye. In the distance, Han Misheng, with a look of terror on his face, tried to carve out a space to escape. However, no sooner had the space been opened up than Madara's 6 paths Shinra Tensei instantly annihilated it. Thus, Soul Mishin was reduced to dust by the 6 paths Shinra Tensei. Moreover, not even a trace of his soul remained. The reason was simple. The 6 paths Shinra Tensei contained not only repulsive force, but also the power of yin and yang escape techniques, both of which could have a certain impact on the soul. Therefore, Soul Mishin naturally could not survive. Ignoring the vast open space around him, Uchiha Madara descended directly into the Soul Palace. After a slight perception, a pitch black spatial rift appeared, and Madara appeared at the location where the soul essence was stored. Sensing the amount of soul essence before him, Madara nodded slightly. This time, he could advance to the Emperor Realm Soul. PS. 5th update, 10,16,000. The remaining 3 updates will be completed by 10:30 tomorrow morning. Chapter 162, Demonic Fire Space, Nightmare Sky Fog. After absorbing the soul essence from the Celestial Palace, Madara successfully ascended to the Emperor Realm. All the soul essence collected by the Soul Palaces from the 3 Celestial Palaces and 24 Earthly Palaces became nutrients for Madara's soul's growth. Considering that Madara's original soul was already at the great perfection of the Celestial Realm, it wasn't surprising that he had ascended to the Emperor Realm after absorbing so much soul essence. Madara subtly sensed the power of the Emperor Realm Soul. Compared to a quasi-Emperor Realm Soul, it was indeed a significant improvement. With an Emperor Realm Soul, its soul power alone could easily crush Han Misheng. Its upper limit might even rival that of a 7-star Daosheng, a truly impressive feat. However, it still fell short of the qualitative growth he experienced from absorbing the soul from the fruit of the divine tree. After ascending to the Emperor Realm, Madara reached out and summoned Han Misheng's storage ring. From within, he pulled out an invitation with this message. The Medicine Clan specially invites the Soul Palace Master to participate in the Medicine Clan Pharmacopoeia. Madara immediately made a mental note about the Medicine Clan and realized that this Medicine Clan Pharmacopoeia held a significant bearing on the future turmoil of this world. This surprised Madara, and he also became somewhat interested in the Medicine Clan's Pharmacopoeia. Of course, Madara wasn't interested in refining medicine, but rather the major events it encompassed. He had already reached pinnacle in refining medicine. With the combined power of his Emperor Realm Soul and the evolution of his soul from the sacred tree fruit, his control over his soul was arguably unrivaled on the continent. However, refining elixirs still relied heavily on fundamental fire control and the ability to manipulate medicinal herbs. While high-quality elixirs differed, they simply involved the additional process of absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to elevate one's own spirituality. In other respects, they remained the same. After realizing this, or perhaps mastering the art of refining medicine, Madara lost much of his interest. After all, whether it was an 8th grade or 9th grade elixir, it was essentially useless to him. He tore open a black rift in space and stepped inside. Before joining the Medicine Clan's festivities, he first had to obtain the Pure Lotus Demon Fire. Break. A powerful burst of yin-yang escape energy erupted, instantly shattering the space that contained the Pure Lotus Demon Fire. The Pure Lotus Demon Saint was a figure nearing the power of a Daodi. Those weaker than him naturally had no way of defeating his seal against the Pure Lotus Demon Fire. But Madara was not one of them. After absorbing the fruit of the sacred tree, with a single strike, he mercilessly shattered this dimension. A milky white light poured down like flowing water. The space shattered and expanded, forming a milky white halo. The moment this halo formed, the temperature between heaven and earth suddenly rose. This milky white halo served as the connection between the sealed dimension and the outside world. Passing through it, one could enter the demon fire dimension. With a single step, Madara crossed the 1,000-meter distance and entered the demon fire dimension. As his body passed through the halo, a flash of light appeared, and the surrounding space transformed. A high temperature. This was Madara's first sensation upon entering the demon fire dimension. While no temperature would affect Madara at his current level, even a typical Dao Sheng would likely struggle to withstand such intense heat. So, it was truly incredibly high. Madara's gaze swept around, and the air was filled with a milky white flame, likely a spawn of the pure lotus demonic fire. But the next moment, his pupils shrank, and his face turned completely cold. Before him, Uchiha Izuna suddenly appeared. "Brother," she said, still looking like she was in her late 20s from the late Warring States period. With a dying look, she looked at him coldly. He had heard that the pure lotus demonic fire could use human emotions as a catalyst, sparking the birth of the demonic fire within a person. Once the demonic fire appeared within a person, even the soul would be incinerated. Any emotion, joy, anger, sorrow, or happiness, if not controlled, could invite the demonic fire to consume the body. He had known this beforehand, and had suspected that the pure lotus demonic fire would use illusions to deceive him. However, manifesting Uchiha Izuna was a taboo in Madara's heart. Amaterasu. Uchiha Madara clasped his hands together, uttered 2 words, and instantly, a pitch black flame appeared beside him. As always, when the essence of chakra is elevated, all abilities based on it are also enhanced. Amaterasu's essence is pure Yinsuku, so naturally she falls into this category. Compared to her predecessor, the current Amaterasu is at least 10 times more powerful. Even before the enhancement, Amaterasu was already on par with the top 10 of the strange fires on the strange fire list. After the enhancement, Madara doesn't believe Amaterasu is inferior to the pure lotus demonic fire and the void devouring flame. Moreover, when devouring the strange fires in the burning technique, Madara uses Amaterasu's fire as a primary source, making Amaterasu even more powerful. Amaterasu instantly ignited upon appearing, rushing across the space like a gust of wind, incinerating all the milky white flames. With this action, the world before Madara suddenly shifted. The milky white sea of fire vanished. In its place, a milky white mist covering an area of several dozen feet was replaced. Madara's gaze swept over it, and he realized that the previous environment must have been caused by this strange mist. He had heard that the pure lotus demon saint possessed a unique skill called nightmare mist. He had once used this technique to cause the inhabitants of a city to dwell within it for hundreds of years. When the mist dissipated, it was revealed to have been merely an illusion. If he was correct, the pure lotus demon fire must have learned this nightmare mist. This nightmare mist did share some similarities with the infinite Tsukuyomi. With a slight swing of his arm, a jet black flame instantly engulfed the milky white mist. Having experienced the Dou Qi continent, Madara no longer held the same obsession with the infinite Tsukuyomi, as alternatives were aplenty. He didn't know when he would return to the ninja world, but in other worlds, he would explore as many methods as possible, using the best one upon his return to completely transform the ninja world. After devouring the nightmare mist, some nightmare mist cultivation methods emerged in Madara's mind, prompting a slight nod. Indeed, there was some merit to it. Turning his gaze straight ahead again, Uchiha Madara moved swiftly, flying towards the center of space. Izuna's appearance made Madara feel a little irritated. Now, all he wanted was to quickly refine the pure lotus demonic fire. However, as he began to move, the surrounding space became increasingly distorted. Cracks appeared one after another, and figures shrouded in milky white flames surged out of the cracks like a tide. "Stop it," Madara muttered to himself, observing the figures before him. PS. 6th update. 12,000/16,000. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163, Continuous Breakthrough and Blood Axe Figure. The figures suddenly appeared, shrouded in flames. Though imposing, their eyes were devoid of emotion. These were the powerful beings who had been refined by the Pure Lotus demonic fire in the past. They were nicknamed Fire Slaves, the equivalent of puppets of the Pure Lotus demonic fire. Thousands of flaming figures roared, unleashing their might, sweeping towards Madara with a force that shook the world. Beyond the flaming figures stood a massive gate. HMPH. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, and a massive repulsive force instantly swept out, annihilating the thousands of flaming figures. He then smashed the gate with a crushing force. However, after the gate shattered, a large hole appeared. Within this hall, numerous fire slaves also appeared, now even more powerful. Just a trick. Madara remained expressionless. The Shinra Tenso's immense repulsive force erupted once again, vanishing all the flaming figures once again. The final gate of the hall was also blasted open by Madara with a crushing blow. Madara traversed palace after palace. The challenge was essentially the same as before, a certain number of fire slaves and a gate. The only difference was that the further he advanced, the stronger the fire slaves became. Even terrifying combinations of 10,000 Daozun appeared. A single Daozun was nothing to Uchiha Madara. However, the combined might of 10,000 Daozun, perfectly coordinated, was so terrifying that even ordinary Daoshengs would have to be wary. Of course, for Madara, 10,000 Daozun were still nothing. However, this was due to Madara's own chakra power. A powerful cultivator cultivating Dou Qi, afraid to absorb the celestial energy within the demonic fire space and unable to make ends meet, would likely have a difficult time. But Madara didn't care, coldly blasting through palace after palace. So what if the fire slaves kept getting stronger? If they could continue to grow stronger, then that was a testament to the power of the Pure Lotus demonic fire. However, the Pure Lotus demonic fire proved not to be that powerful. After Madara blasted through the gates of perhaps a dozen massive palaces, the next one he encountered wasn't swarming with flaming figures. However, while there weren't the densely packed figures of flame, a rather gaunt figure stood upright in the center of the vast hall. Surprisingly, no flames swirled about him, his eyes tightly closed. A powerful aura, like a mountain bearing down on one's head, emanated from him. A 4-star Daosheng. This figure's aura was surprisingly strong. This was a 4-star Daosheng. Any powerful being who reached that level was undoubtedly no ordinary figure. Yet, such a powerful being had become a fire slave to a strange fire like the Pure Lotus demonic fire. Madara looked at the figure before him. At such a level of power, it was understandable that the Pure Lotus demonic fire commanded only a limited number of fire slaves. He simply hoped this figure wasn't the last one to reach the final stage, otherwise he would be deeply disappointed. Soon, the figure moved. In the quiet hall, the ground shook violently. The gaunt figure gently grasped the air before him, and a blood-red axe, several feet long and monstrous in appearance, appeared out of thin air. Against the backdrop of the massive axe, his gaunt figure looked somewhat comical, yet one could clearly sense the terrifying power hidden within his slender frame. Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes. Come on, let him see this man's strength. The gaunt figure, wielding the massive blood axe, swung it like a whirlwind, a scent of blood filling the hall. Instantly, a massive blood-red axe blade appeared from the sky and slashed towards Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara extended his right hand, and the simplest, yet most effective Shinra Tensei appeared once again. A powerful repulsive force instantly surged forward, shattering the blood-red axe blade and striking directly at the blood-red figure. A terrifying wave of sound swept out like a tidal wave, sending the blood-red axe figure flying backwards, their footsteps creating dozens of massive craters in the vast hall. After being knocked back, a frenzied intense heat suddenly welled up in the blood-red axe figure's indifferent eyes. A low growl erupted from his throat, and a powerful light suddenly blazed from his brow. Within that light, a rune slowly appeared before Madara Uchiha's gaze. As the rune appeared, the figure's aura suddenly surged. Could he continue dancing? Madara didn't interrupt the blood axe figure's growing power. He calmly waited for its aura to surge, his eyes fixed on the rune on its forehead. This rune gave him a familiar feeling. As its aura surged, the figure's strength increased by a full star before stabilizing. It was already a 5-star Dou Sheng, approaching 6. A massive blood axe slashed from the sky. Madara sighed softly, raising his right arm once more. A 5-star Dou Sheng after all, that strength was still too weak. Bang! A resounding sound echoed, and the blood axe figure was struck hard, sending it flying backwards. Simultaneously, faint milky white flames gradually erupted from its pores. While attacking, Madara also dispelled the pure lotus demon fire within the blood axe figure, freeing it from its control. "Take me to where the pure lotus demon fire is," Uchiha Madara said. "You are very powerful. Perhaps you can truly defeat the pure lotus demon fire," the blood axe figure said with a complicated expression. "Follow me." Slowly rising, the blood axe figure walked towards the final palace door. Uchiha Madara followed without further ado. After the giant door was pushed open, a staircase stretched out. At the end of the staircase, a huge stone altar could be vaguely seen. Upon seeing the altar stone platform, Uchiha Madara smiled faintly and stepped onto the stone stairs, walking towards the end step by step. Soon, Madara reached the end of the altar, with the blood axe figure following behind him. Atop the altar, a massive throne stood silently. Atop it, a figure in white robes sat peacefully cross-legged, wisps of milky white flames swirling around it, constantly transforming into various forms. As Uchiha Madara stepped onto the altar, the figure finally slowly opened his eyes, a smile breaking across his handsome face. "Defeat me, and you will obtain the essence of the demonic fire. Otherwise, stay here and become my fire slave." Uchiha Madara raised a brow. The figure, sitting while he stood, was so arrogant. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly and raised his right arm, intending to knock the figure flying, sending it crashing to the ground. But before Madara could move, the throne beneath the figure suddenly vanished, and the figure fell to the ground in a disastrous state. Seeing this, Madara understood instantly. It seemed he was still trapped in the illusion of the pure lotus demonic fire. PS 14,000/16,000. I will start saving drafts tomorrow and set fewer goals next time. Chapter 164, Ancient Heaven Refining Formation. Why did Madara still think it was an illusion? Because everything here shifted according to his imagination. Just as he was about to knock the white-robed figure to the ground, it collapsed. If this wasn't an illusion, what was it? It was simply because his own soul power was immense, producing a kind of telepathic effect. The smile on the handsome face of the white-robed man slowly faded, a strange coldness taking over. His eyes fixed on Uchiha Madara, filled with disbelief. There's a touch of falsehood within the truth, and there's a touch of truth within the falsehood. I didn't expect your little strange fire to have such power. Uchiha Madara smiled faintly, slowly raising his arms. Chakra power accumulated within him, forming a core, and then exploded with a bang. Super. Shinra Tensei. Instantly, the entire space shattered like paper. Damn it. The white figure, transformed by the pure lotus demonic fire, roared in frustration, but it was no use. The power of Shinra Tensei spread in all directions, completely shattering the entire space. After the explosion, Madara opened his eyes again. What caught his eye was a vast sea of magma, from which milky white flames occasionally erupted. This milky white magma stretched to the very edge of his vision, as if this space were entirely composed of magma. Above the magma sea, enormous rocks hovered, and Madara was currently perched atop these rocks. Behind him, a vast silver halo slowly swirled. It resembled a magma world, but unlike that world, where the bulk of the space was underground, the bulk of this space was in the sky. Uchiha Madara cast his gaze towards the magma sea not far away. There, the magma slowly bulged, a massive column of magma, approximately 100 feet tall, rising from the magma sea. Finally, when it reached a point parallel to Madara's position, it slowly stopped, and a handsome man in a white robe emerged. Madara could easily discern that the white-robed man before him was the true form of the pure lotus demonic fire. However, unlike the other beast-like flames, the pure lotus demonic fire took human form, which surprised Madara slightly. "You've broken my nightmare illusion. You're very powerful, on the verge of reaching the level of a 6-star Dou Sheng. If you hadn't come alone, I wouldn't have had any confidence in defeating you." Demonic fire refining the heavens. A blazing milky white flame suddenly erupted from the white-robed man's body, instantly engulfing the entire world, enveloping Uchiha Madara in a flaming prison. Compared to the sky-wide flames, Madara, standing at the center of the attack, seemed like a small boat on the ocean. The Pure Lotus demonic fire looked like the ultimate boss in anime, while Madara was a helpless character. Uchiha Madara held back, allowing the Pure Lotus demonic fire to unleash its full potential. In his opinion, the Pure Lotus demonic fire was currently only equivalent to a peak 5-star Dou Sheng. While it could fight a 6-star Dou Sheng, it was still far from his match. He hoped that the Pure Lotus demonic fire's confidence stemmed from an additional trump card. Fire Demon Halberd. Pure Lotus demon fire gently clenched its palm towards the boundless magma sea below, causing it to violently churn. Immediately, a massive, blazing white halberd shot forth from it, appearing in Pure Lotus demon fire's hand in a flash. I have been sealed here for thousands of years. Since you seek to stop me today, then die. As the final syllable emanated from Pure Lotus demon fire's mouth, he suddenly raised his head and opened his mouth, launching a massive wave of demonic fire, hundreds of feet in length, into the air. Simultaneously, the massive flaming halberd was flung forth by Pure Lotus demon fire, its white light piercing the sky with astonishing power. Great compassion hand. The massive wave of demonic fire from his mouth wasn't enough for Pure Lotus demon fire. He hovered in the air, his right hand raised high. Then, a massive magma-like hand, 1,000 feet in length, burst forth from the sea, striking down upon Bang with breathtaking heat. Pure Lotus demon fire formed hand seals again, and 10 fire slaves, each with Dou Sheng strength, appeared simultaneously. 2 of them had even reached the Dou Qi realm of a 3-star Dou Sheng. These 10 terrifyingly powerful fire slaves simultaneously self-destructed. Clearly, Pure Lotus demon fire knew that facing a formidable force like Uchiha Madara, it could not hold back. It must crush him with thunderous force. Flame halberds, seas of fire, giant magma hands, and fire slave self-destructions for powerful attacks simultaneously descended upon Uchiha Madara. Excitement shone in Pure Lotus demon fire's eyes. He was confident that even a 6-star Dou Sheng would be severely injured, or even killed by his fourfold lethal attack. Is that all? Uchiha Madara sighed softly. His dark eyes transformed into the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, and then into the Rinnegan. He extended his right hand, and an invisible light shield suddenly appeared before Uchiha Madara. Facing this quadruple attack, Madara used the Rinnegan's absorption power to absorb it all. Despite the mighty roar of the Pure Lotus demon fire, it now caused no further ripples. How is this possible? The Pure Lotus demon fire exclaimed in disbelief. No 6-star Dou Sheng could so easily withstand his quadruple attack. To accomplish this effortless, one must be at least a 7-star Dou Sheng, and one with the specialized ability to absorb energy. If that's all you can do, then your struggles today are pointless. Madara's voice rang out calmly. The Pure Lotus demon fire's expression changed. The incoming force was beyond his imagination. He had to use that move. The Pure Lotus demon fire waved his hands, and the milky white flames that filled the sky and earth suddenly condensed towards him, forming a massive flaming giant nearly 10,000 feet tall. Demon fire statue. The flaming giant plunged its legs directly into the magma sea below. Its colossal size made anyone's soul tremble. A single blow from such a giant would likely shatter even a Dou Sheng warrior into nothingness. The demon fire statue launched a punch, and a vortex of lava several thousand feet across the magma sea appeared, swelling and roaring wildly. Madara's expression remained calm. A vast expanse of pure yin released chakra rose from his back. A blue giant, equally 10,000 feet tall, appeared in the magma sea. A 1,000-meter long blue lightsaber was unsheathed, and then suddenly erupted. In an instant, the demon fire statue was severed in half, its 2 halves tumbling into the magma sea, stirring up a massive wave. But the Pure Lotus demon fire was unfazed. The demon fire statue was merely a feint. He had a real trump card. The Pure Lotus demon fire formed seals with his hands, and streams of milky white light shot out, filling the entire demon fire space. Ancient refining heaven formation. Rise. P.S. Yesterday's 8 chapters of 16,000 words have been completed, finally finished. Today there are 2 more chapters of 4,000 words guaranteed. I won't say how much I will write tomorrow, it depends on the situation. Chapter 165, The Peak of Heavenly Stage Burning Technique. The Peak of 4-star Dou Sheng. The ancient refining heaven formation was originally used by the Pure Lotus Demon Sage to seal the Pure Lotus Demon Fire. However, after being trapped within this demonic fire dimension for thousands of years, the Pure Lotus Demon Fire had long since mastered its secrets. Two fire formations, tens of thousands of feet in size, suddenly appeared in the sky and on the magma seabed, one above the other, enveloping the entire world. Prepare for death. The ancient refining heaven formation slowly spun, and the Pure Lotus Demon Fire couldn't help but laugh up to the heavens. As the Pure Lotus Demon Sage, the most powerful being of his era, the meticulously constructed ancient refining heaven formation to seal the Pure Lotus Demon Fire was more than enough to defeat even an ordinary 9-star Dou Sheng. Uchiha Madara raised a brow, his interest peaked once again. This Pure Lotus Demon Fire was truly amazing, constantly surprising him. Seeing Uchiha Madara's expression, the Pure Lotus Demon Fire sneered, a terrifying murderous intent surging, and he didn't bother to say anything more. The ancient refining heaven formation, enveloping heaven and earth, slowly spun like a millstone. As the two great formations rotated, the energy within this world became extremely violent. Hundreds of white beams of light, hundreds of feet in size, appeared between heaven and earth, brimming with destructive force. From all directions, these beams of destructive light struck Uchiha Madara. Haha, quite interesting. Uchiha Madara laughed heartily, clasping his hands together. A vast chakra burst from his body, and a small transparent white beam of light appeared in his hands. The next moment, the restrained energy burst forth from the small beam, transforming into a white beam stretching 10 miles across. This beam of light, swelling in a vast circle as Madara himself rotated, annihilating the hundreds of surrounding white beams of destructive light. Dust release. The limit stripping technique. As mentioned earlier, Uchiha Madara, now the progenitor of chakra, possessed all the bloodline limits and bloodline elimination techniques. Upon seeing the white beams of light, the first ninjutsu that popped into his mind was the dust release technique, which also emitted white beams of light. The massive collision occurred in a split second, and a deafening explosion spread outward, creating a massive crater hundreds of kilometers across the magma sea, pushing the magma 10,000 meters away. Upon observing this, the Pure Lotus Demon Fire grew anxious. After using the ancient refining heaven formation, the attack had clearly been a formidable threat only a 9-star Dou Sheng could withstand. Yet, Uchiha Madara had easily dealt with it. If he hadn't known, during his time with the Pure Lotus Demon Fire, that for some reason, no Dou Emperors could emerge from this continent, he would have almost believed Uchiha Madara to be one. However, even without a Dou Emperor, the Pure Lotus Demon Fire knew that Uchiha Madara was far from someone he could provoke. I'll fight you. With a show of bravado, the Pure Lotus Demon Fire unleashed a massive wave of magma, its true form swiftly escaping. Haha, Madara chuckled, then said, stop. In an instant, the entire space surrounding the Pure Lotus Demon Fire was sealed off. Playing such a trick on him, and actually thinking you could pull it off? You're underestimating him. Destroy. The power of Yin Yang release ruthlessly erupted into the sealed space. The Pure Lotus demonic fire's body shrank smaller and smaller, its intelligence completely obliterated by the force of Yin Yang release. Ultimately, all that remained was the pure essence of the alien fire. Uchiha Madara looked over to see a white lotus covered in pink veins slowly drifting through the magma sea. As it swam, the power of the entire ocean surged towards it. With a flick of his body, Madara arrived at the demonic fire's source. Having lost its intelligence, the Pure Lotus demonic fire had returned to its original, purest state, revealing two stark contrasts. One was violent, the other tranquil and peaceful. Madara extended a finger, and the pitch-black flames of Amaterasu enveloped the Pure Lotus demonic fire, slowly devouring it. The three alien fires at the top of the alien fire list were each kings among the alien fires. Ordinary strange fires would be like mice encountering a cat, unable to fight back. However, the Amaterasu flame had grown tenfold, having absorbed 6 different strange fires. Now, facing the mindless Pure Lotus demonic fire, it was able to devour it head-on. Time passed, and despite its strength, the Pure Lotus demonic fire was ultimately completely consumed by the Amaterasu flame. After consuming the Pure Lotus demonic fire, the Amaterasu flame became twice as powerful. The Amaterasu flame Madara now wielded was likely hundreds of times more powerful than that wielded by Uchiha Sasuke in the Naruto world. The two were completely on a different scale. This Amaterasu flame was absolutely capable of incinerating. With a flick of his finger, Madara's further evolved Amaterasu flame circulated within his body, following the path of the burning technique. Instantly, Madara's Dou Qi realm and the level of his burning technique soared. The barrier between Semi-Saint and Dou Sheng was broken almost instantly. 1-star Dou Sheng, 2-star Dou Sheng, 3-star Dou Sheng. In less than a day, every barrier was broken. If anyone outside knew about this, they would probably be horrified. At the Dou Sheng level, the resources and time required for each star advancement are incredibly staggering. And yet, Uchiha Madara achieved 3-star advancement in a single day, unheard of. In fact, reaching 3 stars wasn't the end of Madara's journey. 3-star Dou Sheng, late 4-star Dou Sheng, early 4-star Dou Sheng, late 4-star Dou Sheng. Ultimately, Madara's Dou Qi realm reached the pinnacle of the 4-star Dou Sheng. P.S. In the original novel, Xiao Yan leaped from a 2-star Dou Sheng to a 5-star Dou Sheng after absorbing the pure lotus demon fire. Madara started as a high-level semi-saint, so he didn't jump directly to the 5-star Dou Sheng level. The burning techniques rank also leaped from the intermediate to the advanced heavenly rank, reaching the pinnacle of the heavenly rank. Madara could vaguely sense that the current burning technique might be the only peak heavenly rank Dou Qi technique to have existed on this continent for millennia. His original choice proved correct. Although it was initially a low-level Huang grade technique, its potential was unimaginably vast. Even now, Madara still hadn't felt the limits of the burning technique. It was as if it could devour any incoming flames. Standing up, Madara tore open a pitch-black rift in space. He could force his way into the demonic fire realm, and naturally, he could also force his way out. He had completed the two crucial preliminary preparations, the divine tree fruit and the pure lotus demonic fire. Now, he awaited the arrival of this world's final great upheaval. His foresight had already sensed that the future of this world hinged on the events of the Yao clan and the final upheaval. Come, ascend to the summit of all realms, starting with the summit of the Dou Qi continent. P.S. March 16th First update, 2000/4000. There are 2 more major events, and the final climax is about to begin. The pace may appear fast, but in reality, it's slower due to the gradual escalation. Even by the end of the Dou Qi world, it will have reached nearly 200 chapters. Recommendation votes are useless these days, but what else can I ask for if not votes? Maybe I can give Bambi a heart? Chapter 166, Pharmacopoeia of the Medicine Clan. The Medicine Clan is nestled in the Sheneng Mountains, at the extreme south of Zhongzhou. In some ways, the area is practically detached from Zhongzhou, making it quite remote. However, as the saying goes, a mountain's magic lies not in its height, but in the presence of immortals. This mountain range is similarly blessed. Although the Sheneng Mountains are considered a wild and desolate region, home to venomous insects and numerous ferocious beasts rarely seen in Zhongzhou, the presence of the Medicine Clan has made this area quite vibrant. Furthermore, the mountains are rich in a variety of rare medicinal herbs, and many alchemists travel thousands of miles to search for them for their elixirs. Consequently, the Sheneng Mountains are incredibly popular. The Pharmacopoeia is the Medicine Clan's most important event. While the dates for the event are not fixed, and subject to change depending on various circumstances, it is a gathering of the continent's top alchemists. Through this gathering, the very person who truly reigns supreme among the continent's alchemists is revealed. In addition to the Yao clan's own members, those who were or are currently renowned in Zhongzhou, as well as master alchemists of exceptional skill, are also invited to participate in the Pharmacopoeia. This time, the Yao clan has invited not only master alchemists, but also Daozun and Dou Sheng level experts. It's no surprise that this Pharmacopoeia will be unprecedentedly powerful. A dark rift in space opened in the sky above the Sheneng Mountains, and Uchiha Madara slowly emerged. Madara glanced at the Sheneng Mountains and nodded slightly. Although located in the extreme south of Zhongzhou, the celestial energy here is comparable to that in the heart of the region. Perhaps someone has cultivated this energy with care. Indeed, as Madara suspected, it was the work of a Yao clan ancestor who had cultivated the Sheneng Mountains for centuries. to create such a rich celestial energy. Madara's figure slowly descended, landing in a deep ravine deep within the mountains. Across the ravine stood a massive gate, hundreds of feet long, its center a warped expanse of space. With a quick calculation, Madara deduced that this doorway was the spatial gateway to the Medicine Clan's territory. After a quick glance, Madara flashed and appeared outside the archway. As soon as Madara appeared, several figures guarding the gate shot him sharp glares. Do not trespass on Medicine Clan territory. Who are you? Gatekeepers are generally very shrewd at judging people. They could tell at a glance that Uchiha Madara wasn't from one of those sects, and his expression was calm, showing no reverence for the Medicine Clan. He was likely no ordinary person. However, their goal was to intimidate anyone who wasn't. With the Medicine Clan's backing, they had nothing to fear. But for Madara, a mere minion dared to confront him here? Humph. A cold snort rang out, and the Medicine Clan gatekeepers were instantly sent flying, falling heavily to the ground. This was like stirring up a hornet's nest. Countless powerful figures watched in anticipation. Such arrogance at the gates of the Yao clan meant someone special. Among these countless powerful figures, there were several Madara acquaintances. The most familiar of these were from the Burning Flame Valley and Anta. Why is he here? Tangzen, the master of the Burning Flame Valley, said with a wry smile. As the master of one of the three renowned valleys, he was naturally among the invited experts. But now, sensing the increasingly oppressive aura emanating from Uchiha Madara, Tangzen was unsure what to do. When they first met, Uchiha Madara was still slightly below him in realm. He was at the peak of the 5-star Daozan realm, while Madara hadn't yet reached that level. Now, meeting him, Tangzen found he had no way of sensing Madara's true strength. This feeling left Tangzen deeply distressed. It was unlikely that the Nine Dragons' Thunder Flame would return. On the Danta side, there were 4 people, the 3 Danta giants plus Yao Chen, who had successfully rebuilt his body. Upon seeing Uchiha Madara, the 4 members of Danta immediately rushed over to him. Mr. Madara is here too, isn't it? Didn't they say they couldn't find him, so the invitation wasn't delivered? Yao Chen rebuked Zhu and Kangxi as he flew. Yao Chen, having successfully rebuilt his body using Daosheng bones and the 9-colored pill Thunder's bone melting blood pill, had reached Daosheng status. He vaguely possessed the demeanor of a leader within Danta. I don't know either. I have no idea where Mr. Madara is, Zhu and Kangxi said helplessly. All he knew was that the Soul Palace branch that had been destroyed in recent days might have been Uchiha Madara's. The Danta Patriarch had mentioned to him the Soul Palace's human hall and the Pure Lotus demonic fire. And every time Danta sent someone to deliver an invitation, they never found a chance to speak with Uchiha Madara, let alone deliver one. No matter what, let's go ahead. Mr. Madara is very powerful, but this is the Yao clan, one of the 8 ancient clans. We must not act rashly. Zhu and Yadao, one of the 3 great Danta figures, had a fondness for Madara because he had helped her save Yao Chen. Alright, Xiao Yan said. Meanwhile, the Yao clan had regained their composure, and many Daozan surrounded Uchiha Madara. You're quite bold, stirring up trouble in our Yao clan. A massive hand loomed in the sky, reaching directly for Uchiha Madara. A closer look revealed a Daosheng level attack. Is this how you Yao clan treat guests? In my opinion, your clan will be exterminated sooner or later, Madara said coldly, his arms folded across his chest. His response was blunt. Soul power surged forth, crushing the hand in the sky. Daosheng. The voice in the sky hinted at surprise. Those who achieved Daosheng status were considered giants in Zhangzhou, but he had no impression of the man before him. He hadn't expected to misjudge him today. He was also aware of the attitudes of the gatekeepers of their Medicine clan. And, a Daosheng cannot be insulted. Ordinary people, fearing the Medicine clan's strength, might laugh it off, but a Daosheng cannot be insulted. For a moment, the Medicine clan's Daosheng was in a difficult position. Mr. Ban is one of the 8 elders of Ardenta. His alchemy skills are among the top 3 in Ardenta. Is there any problem with entering your Medicine clan's space? Another Daosheng aura emanated, belonging to Yao Chen and the Danta's 3 giants who had already arrived. Is that Yao Zun, the champion of the alchemy conference back then? No, judging by his current aura, perhaps he should be called a medicine saint. Yao Chen's appearance immediately stirred discussions among the crowd. As Yao Chen and the Dante's three giants sided with Ban, the crowd gathered to watch the excitement. Many wondered how today's incident would end. P.S. Today's update is complete. The Medicine Clan Pharmacopoeia incident begins. Chapter 167 Entering the Medicine Clan space and losing courage. Let them in. A resounding voice echoed from within the Medicine Clan space, clearly belonging to a powerful Dao Sheng from the clan. The guards at the gate faltered, their expressions changing as they scrambled over. A beam of light shot from their hands, striking the gate, causing the space above it to distort. Please enter. Someone will escort you to the Pharmacopoeia. This time, despite their resentment, the guards appeared respectful. In this world, strength reigns supreme, and a Dao Sheng cannot be insulted. Uchiha Madara's power rivaled that of some of the Medicine Clan's Grand Elders. How could they dare offend him? Uchiha Madara glanced at the guards, sending them reeling. Without further ado, he darted into the Medicine Clan's space. Yao Chen, Dante, and the other two breathed a sigh of relief and followed suit. The moment they entered the space, their vision blurred, and the mountains before them transformed into a lush green plain. Dominating the plain were enormous birds and beasts, their wingspans stretching hundreds of feet. After the group stepped onto the giant bird, it flapped its wings. A howling wind roared as it soared rapidly toward the depths of the Medicine Clan's realm. After a while of flight, the mist dispersed, revealing a towering mountain. Atop the mountain, clusters of buildings could be seen, and countless plumes of smoke rose into the air, emitting a rich, medicinal fragrance. With a single leap, the group arrived atop the mountain. Uchiha Madara surveyed the surroundings. If his guess was correct, this must be the center of the Medicine Clan's realm, a sort of clan domain. Of the four members of Dante, Yao Chen was lost in thought. Once exiled from the clan, Yao Chen naturally felt a sense of emotion upon seeing these familiar buildings again. As the group landed on the mountain, a cold, elderly laugh reached their ears. I was wondering who was so disobedient. It turns out it's you, Yao Chen. But Yao Chen, I'm a little surprised that you, exiled from the clan, actually have the nerve to return. These words were extremely rude, and the one who said them was no ordinary person. The people around him took a slight step back when they saw the old man approaching. Some of the villains surrounding Yao Wangui, seeing his obvious hostility, immediately began to sneer. Yao Chen, aren't you just a worthless person expelled from our Yao clan? You're an old man, and it's not good for you to stay quiet. You've come to our clan and humiliated yourself. Yes, haha, elder, with your status, what can you say to this outcast? Yao Wangui relished this feeling of being the center of attention, looking down at Yao Chen, Dante, the other two, and Uchiha Madara. Yao Chen clenched his fists tightly, but he also knew that Yao Wangui was a 4-star Dao Sheng, not something he, a novice Dao Sheng, could rival. Uchiha Madara glanced at Yao Chen and said, a true man, born between heaven and earth, must not always yield. If you yield for too long, you will lose your original courage. As soon as Uchiha Madara finished speaking, one of the Yao clan members who had been speaking collapsed, blood splattering all over the floor. The sudden change startled everyone, and they hurriedly focused their attention to observe the situation. Madara had already crossed a great distance, and stomped mercilessly on the man's head. What a swift speed. Countless people in the square were shocked. They hadn't even seen how Uchiha Madara had struck before the Yao clan member was already dead on the spot. How dare you? This is my Yao clan. Yao Wangui was also shocked by the scene, his face darkening, and he shouted sternly, Yao clan. So what? Madara said disdainfully. With a light clench of his hand, all the Yao clan members standing near Yao Wangui were sprayed with blood, losing their ability to fight. Who the hell are you? I will never forgive you. Yao Wangui's face darkened even further. This wasn't just a punishment for those brats, it was a slap in the face. Yao clan iron guards. Capture him. Yao Wangui pointed his finger at Uchiha Madara and shouted. Yes. As soon as Yao Wangui finished speaking, figures flashed out of the square. Dozens of figures in black iron armor rushed towards Uchiha Madara. Dozens of figures simultaneously roared, and fierce fighting spirit attacked Uchiha Madara's vital points. Bang. However, before these dozens of fighting spirits could reach Uchiha Madara, a massive wave of energy erupted in all directions, centered around him. Wherever the wave passed, the spears, coated in powerful fighting spirit, collapsed. The dozens of figures were sent flying backwards, as if struck by a heavy blow. The black armor on their bodies instantly turned to ash, revealing horrified faces. Yao Wang's pupils shrank at the terrifying power of the blast, and his heart was shaken. To have so effortless dispatched the Yao clan's iron guards, this man must be at least a 3-star Daosheng. I want to see what you have the right to do today, to run wild in my Yao clan. Though shaken, Yao Wangui was still one of the most powerful of the Yao clan. He strode forward with a furious rage, unleashing the powerful aura of mid-stage 4-star Daosheng without reservation. The crowd around him was abruptly thrown back. Many of the leaders and grand elders of other factions wore solemn expressions, clearly unprepared for Yao Wangu's immense strength. But the next moment, those whose expressions had changed at Yao Wangu's power were once again filled with shock. From Uchiha Madara, a surge of aura, many times more powerful than Yao Wangu's previous outburst, emerged. The massive blast of energy instantly dispelled all spectators within a kilometer. He was at least a 6-star Daosheng. At the moment when Uchiha Madara's aura burst out, Yao Wangu's face turned ugly. Facing a strong man of this level, he was no match at all. The aura surrounding him was like a mountain pressing down on his head. If they fought, he would probably be defeated by Uchiha Madara within 10 rounds. The aura of the 6-star Daosheng burst out, and it also alarmed many strong men of the Yao clan. What kind of strength is a 6-star Daosheng for the Yao clan? Even the Yao clan leader is only at the level of a 7-star Daosheng. Figures flew down from the top of the mountain, and when they saw the blood all over the square, they couldn't help but show anger on their faces. This is their home. No matter who is right or wrong, being beaten like this at their doorstep is too disrespectful to them. PS. Today is the first update. There are 2 updates in total. Chapter 168, The Top of Medicine Mountain. Elder Wangui, what's going on? Furious and shocked, eyes turned to Yao Wangui. Elders, you've arrived just in time. This man is so arrogant, he dared to attack one of our clan members within the Yao clan. Help me capture him, or we'll lose face in front of all these guests. Seeing the figures in the sky, Yao Wangui was instantly delighted and shouted. Madara chuckled mockingly, his hand unleashing a burst of power, instantly sending all the Yao clan elders reeling. Madara himself then appeared before Yao Wangui like a ghost, slapping him with the palm. Stop. Just as Uchiha Madara was about to attack Yao Wangui, an old voice echoed, and a red figure swiftly swooped down from the sky. It's Elder Wanhuo. Countless people in the square exclaimed in surprise at the red-robed figure's appearance. This newcomer was one of the Yao clan's most powerful elders, as formidable as a 6-star Daosheng. It could be said that he was second only to one man, and surpassed 10,000. But Uchiha Madara naturally ignored him. No one in this world could protect someone Madara was determined to teach a lesson to. With a single blow, a gaping hole appeared in Yao Wangu's chest. He was toppled over and sent flying 1,000 meters away like a kite with its string cut. Meanwhile, Elder Wanhuo had arrived in the sky, extending his hand and unleashing a 100-foot-long red beam of light. But with a simple wave of his hand, the beam instantly dissipated. Madara himself arrived before Yao Wangui, grasping him by the neck and lifting him aloft. Yao Wangui's face paled in fear as the immense force surged, struggling like a fish in a rage. Elder Wanhuo gazed at Uchiha Madara with a complex expression. The aura emanating from this man was unfathomable. He even doubted that even the clan leader could subdue him. When had such a figure emerged in Zhongzhou? But at this point, he could only surrender. Sir, this incident is the fault of our Yao clan, but today is a great day for our Yao clan. If Yao Wangui has offended us in any way, please spare him for the sake of our Yao clan's reputation, Elder Wanhuo said. Upon hearing this, the surrounding Yao clan members and guests were stunned, clearly unprepared for such a gesture from Elder Wanhuo, the face of the Yao clan. Interesting, Ban chuckled softly, tossing Yao Wangui away with one hand. While Yao Wangui was unremarkable and unworthy of his position, Elder Wanhuo was adaptable and a true figure. Furthermore, Ban hadn't intended to cause a scene at the start of this major event. He simply wanted to teach Yao Chen a lesson. If a scene had erupted, revealing their strength, the mastermind might simply have been deterred from revealing themselves. Rely on mountains, and they will fall. Rely on water, and it will flow. Only rely on yourself, and you will never fall. You often teach Xiao Yan this lesson. Don't forget it, Ban said, folding his arms and standing beside Yao Chen. Yes, Yao Chen nodded. Decades of life as a spirit had indeed dulled some of his sharp edge. Elder Wangui has a rude temper. I will personally reprimand him afterwards. As the saying goes, a visitor is a guest. Since you have accepted our Yao clan's invitation and come here, we should naturally treat you as guests. Compared to Yao Wangui, Elder Wan Ho was much more magnanimous, and his polite words spoke with the air of a great leader. Yao Chen, and the three of you from Danta, could you introduce this powerful figure to me? Elder Wan Ho asked, looking at Yao Chen and the other three. He wanted to know who Uchiha Madara was. After the four of them exchanged glances, Zhu and Yi stepped forward to introduce them. This is Mr. Madara of the Uchiha clan, a pinnacle 8th grade alchemist, and one of the 8 elders of Ardenta. He recently subdued the 3000 flames of flame, the strange fire, that Ardenta has long preserved within the starfield. Oh, I didn't expect you to be so accomplished in alchemy. However, the specifications of our Yao clan's pharmacopoeia this time are even higher. It's a gathering place for the best alchemists from the entire Dou Qi continent. If Mr. Madara can excel in this pharmacopoeia, then the title of the continent's greatest alchemist will likely fall to him. Elder Wan Ho stroked his beard, a hint of pride in his words. Compared to Dou Qi prowess, he considered Uchiha Madara to be of equal or even greater strength. However, when it came to alchemy, Elder Wan Ho considered him superior. After all, the Yao clan's origins lay in alchemy. I have no interest in this pharmacopoeia, Madara said. If he truly desired to refine an elixir, with his current spiritual realm, refining a 9th grade golden elixir would be a simple task, provided he had sufficient medicinal materials. However, if he were to refine a 9th grade golden elixir, the entire pharmacopoeia's spiritual energy would likely be absorbed by this single elixir, causing everyone else's elixir refining to fail. Playing house with a bunch of little kids was, after all, rather boring. Elder Wan Ho chuckled, assuming Uchiha Madara lacked confidence in his alchemy skills, not that he was simply too powerful to join in the fun. Everyone, follow me. As an apology for what happened earlier, I will personally lead the way, Elder Wan Ho said. With that, the group took off, soaring towards other destinations. Soon, Madara reached the summit of Medicine Mountain, the venue for this pharmacopoeia. Amidst clouds and mist, the strange fragrance of the elixir permeated the air, creating a sense of tranquility, as if transported to a fairyland. At the summit of Medicine Mountain, vast fields of medicinal herbs converged like an ocean. Above this sea of herbs, a vast plaza hovered in mid-air. At its corners, 4 massive medicinal cauldrons rose from them, their fragrant aromas rising into the sky. This suspended platform was already crowded with figures, and the sounds of lively conversation echoed continuously, creating a vibrant atmosphere. Looking north along the stone platform, one could see stone chairs lined up side by side. On either side, beautiful maids flitted like butterflies, their deft hands filling the jade cups on the stone tables. Several people scurried to the summit and found seats, each beside Elder Wan Ho, considered among the most prestigious positions within the medicine clan. Mr. Madara, this is just foreplay for the pharmacopoeia. There's nothing much to watch. It's just a show of skill from the young members of the medicine clan. The real showdown is yet to come. Yao Chen explained to Uchiha Madara, after taking his seat, observing the people refining their elixirs in the square. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly, his gaze darting around. His attention wasn't focused on these people to begin with, he was looking at the people present. Who among them was most likely the mastermind behind today's events? PS. 2 updates completed. I'll save the finished draft in a few days, and then publish it daily. Chapter 169. Yao Dan, the patriarch of the medicine clan, and Hanzuzi of the soul clan. As Uchiha Madara looked around, the crowd around the stone platform grew larger and larger. The noise grew louder, reaching the sky, its humming waves shaking the clouds apart. Suddenly, a resounding bell chime echoed through the air, resonating for a long time. The next moment, numerous members of the medicine clan quickly stood up, their voices resounding with respect. Welcome clan leader. Amidst these resounding greetings, the clouds in the sky churned and then automatically parted. A white-haired elder in a white robe slowly stepped out from the clouds. The space where his footsteps landed rippled with strange vibrations, as if the intangible space had become solid. Clan leader of the Medicine clan, Madara observed the scene and raised his eyebrows. A small 7-star Dou Sheng had quite the presence. However, aside from Madara, no one present could even utter the word small when referring to a 7-star Dou Sheng. For example, Yao Chen. This is Yao Dan, the patriarch of the Yao clan. He may have already reached the level of a 7-star Dou Sheng, Yao Chen said with a slightly complicated expression. Regardless, Yao clan blood flowed through his veins, and seeing the Yao clan leader now filled him with profound emotions. 7-star Dou Sheng. The other 3 members of Danta stared solemnly. This level of Dou Qi was even greater than that of their own Danta ancestor. A guest is welcome. In the sky, Yao Dan, the patriarch of the Yao clan, wore a gentle smile and bowed to the dense crowd. Then, his gaze suddenly passed through the crowd and rested on Yao Chen, his eyes flickering slightly. Yao Chen slowly raised his head, looking directly at Yao Dan. After a faint smile, he said, neither servile nor arrogant, greetings, Patriarch Yao Dan. Yao Chen, we were all wrong about you. Yao Dan stared at Yao Chen with a sigh. He then took the main seat, greeted respectfully by the Yao clan elders. Haha, old Yao Dan, are you finally willing to come out of seclusion this time? Just as Yao Dan had taken his seat, a voice full of experience echoed from the sky, accompanied by a rich, exquisite aroma of elixir. Everyone's attention immediately turned, including Uchiha Madara. Madara crossed his arms and swept the sky. Anyone who dared to speak to the Yao clan leader in this way must be of the same level as him. Suddenly, a green light flashed in the distant sky. A few breaths later, a pale green medicine cauldron swiftly appeared through the air. Atop this broken cauldron sat an elderly man in simple linen clothes. He leaned on a cane woven from seemingly medicinal herbs, from which hung numerous jade bottles, which tinkled as he shook them. Elder Shenning, I didn't expect even this senior would show up. Upon seeing this man, Yao Chen's eyes flashed with surprise. This old man, Shenning, was a veteran of the alchemy world. Even Yao Chen and the 3 greats of Danta had to show respect to him as a junior. Haha, you old fellow are still alive. Yao Dan chuckled, clearly in good spirits. Shenning rose from the medicine cauldron and, with a flick of his sleeve, put it away. His weathered gaze swept around before resting on Uchiha Madara. I haven't been out of my mind for years. I never imagined someone like you would appear in Zhongzhou. Your soul power is even greater than mine. I'm already a quasi-emperor soul. If I'm not mistaken, you've probably already reached the legendary Emperor Soul realm, Shenning said solemnly. Uchiha Madara didn't deny it. You have indeed reached the Emperor Soul realm. In his heart, Madara's opinion of Shenning rose even higher. At his current soul level, there wouldn't be many who could even sense his Emperor realm soul. The fact that this so-called Elder Shenning could discern a portion of his foundation proved his extraordinary nature. I hope to have a hearty alchemy contest with you at this pharmacopoeia. With his suspicions confirmed, Elder Shenning grew even more solemn. He himself possessed a quasi-emperor realm soul, yet he could battle a 4-star Dou Sheng using only his soul power. Uchiha Madara possessed a true emperor realm soul. It wouldn't be surprising for him to possess a soul power comparable to a 7-star Dou Sheng. Countless people around him, including Yao Chen, Yao Dan, the Yao clan leader, and the 3 great leaders of Danta, were stunned upon hearing this. Soul, Emperor realm. This was a legendary realm. One never imagined anyone could truly reach this level. Suddenly, a dark cloud appeared, spreading at an astonishing speed. In the blink of an eye, it reached the top of the mountain. The cloud coalesced, transforming into a middle-aged man in black. With his appearance, a low humming sound echoed through the heavens and earth, like the sobbing of a soul. Hunk Suzy of the Soul Clan, I have come uninvited. I hope Chief Yao Dan will not take offense. The black-clad man smiled faintly, his voice echoing through the air. Uchiha Madara turned, but it was Yao Chen, not Hunk Suzy, who was looking at him. The moment he appeared, Yao Chen's body trembled, and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. If he was right, this man and Yao Chen had a grudge. Indeed, this was indeed the case. Back then, Hunk Suzy had been hiding in the Little Dun Pagoda and betrayed it. Everyone in the Little Dun Pagoda at that time had a strong hatred for Hunk Suzy. Yao Chen then said coldly, "This fellow holds an extremely high position within the Soul Clan. Even Han Misheng, who controls the Soul Palace, is far inferior to him. I didn't expect that even he would be drawn to the pharmacopoeia this time. Hunk Suzy is extremely important to the Soul Clan. Many of the Soul Clan's schemes to collect souls likely involve Hunk Suzy's schemes. If he can be eliminated, it would essentially cut off the Soul Clan's right-hand man." The other alchemists nearby were also unfavorable when they saw Hunk Suzy. After all, the Soul Palace has been hunting powerful souls for years, and alchemists with naturally strong soul power are undoubtedly the Soul Palace's best targets. Therefore, despite Hunk Suzy's formidable fighting spirit and alchemy skills, he has now become a target. Yaodan was also not very happy. He had not called in alchemists from the Soul Clan or the Ancient Clan because he was suspicious of them due to the events of the Spirit Clan and the Stone Clan. Hunk Suzy, at this juncture, aren't you afraid that our Medicine Clan will deepen its suspicions of your Soul Clan? Yaodan said coldly. It's precisely because I'm not afraid of suspicion that I've come here today. Hunk Suzy smiled and said, "The pharmacopoeia is a grand event for the continent's top alchemist, and I'm interested in the title. PS. First update, 2000/4000. It's been quite comfortable updating twice a day these past few days. I'm deeply summarizing my online writing, and my writing skills are gradually improving. Once I finish this summary, I'll be back with the latest updates. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 175, 9th Rank Grandmasters. Hunk Suzy's words seemed to guarantee him the title of the continent's greatest alchemist. Yaodan smiled faintly and said, "Since you're so eager to be the continent's greatest alchemist, then stay. My Yao clan doesn't take guests lightly. As long as you abide by our rules, you're our guest. If you violate our rules, don't blame me for being rude." At the end of his words, a murderous look crossed Yaodan's aged face, the majesty of the clan leader filling everyone with awe. Patriarch Yaodan is truly magnanimous. Hunk Suzy chuckled softly, a strange light emanating from his eyes. With a flicker of his body, he appeared at a table not far from Uchiha Madara. Sensing Uchiha Madara's Emperor Realm Soul, Hunk Suzy was startled. When had such a figure appeared in Zhongzhou? In their entire Han clan, only their clan leader, Han Xiandi, possessed an Emperor Realm Soul. Hunk Suzy, with a forced smile, immediately tried to make peace. "I had no idea you were an Emperor Realm Soul. I wonder if we could be friends." Uchiha Madara glanced at Hunk Suzy, then casually said, "As an Emperor Realm Soul, I have the Soul Clan to thank. If I hadn't destroyed the 24 earthly evil temples and 3 heavenly gang temples of your Soul Clan's Soul Palace in Zhongzhou, I wouldn't have reached the Emperor Realm. You might not recognize my face the first time we meet, but you've probably heard my name, Uchiha Madara." Hunk Suzy's smile froze, and his whole demeanor turned cold. As a prominent figure in the Soul Clan, how could he not know Uchiha Madara's name? He had destroyed every branch of the Soul Palace in Zhongzhou, and even Han Misheng, a 5-star Dao Sheng, hadn't even managed to escape. Uchiha Madara's Dou Qi realm was definitely not low. Furthermore, he had heard from the Soul Palace's deputy master that Uchiha Madara was suspected of being a member of the hidden Dowdy family. For the Soul Clan's current plan, Uchiha Madara and the unknown Dowdy clan's power behind him represent the greatest uncertainty. The next moment, Hunk Suzy's expression shifted even more, as Uchiha Madara was telepathically communicating with him. "If I'm not mistaken, you Soul Clan are planning something this time. Haha, I'm definitely involved." Madara's words immediately stirred a turbulent tide within Hunk Suzy. How could it be possible? How had their Soul Clan's plan been exposed? Hunk Suzy glared at Uchiha Madara with murderous intent in his eyes. This man must not be allowed to live. Uchiha Madara had been keeping an eye on Hunk Suzy. Noticing the change in Hunk Suzy's expression, he sneered. It seemed the Soul Clan was indeed planning something. Meanwhile, Yeoden's calm voice slowly echoed, enveloping the entire world. The time has come. The pharmacopoeia begins. The beginning of the pharmacopoeia was a stage for the younger generation. Needless to say, it was just a competition between a group of alchemists of the 6th rank or below. Nothing spectacular. The real highlight came after the younger generation's tests, when the greats at the pinnacle of alchemy competed. Haha, it's finally begun. Yao Chen slowly opened his eyes, feeling the sudden rise in temperature, and couldn't help but smile. Mr. Madara, the final highlight, besides you and me, is Hunk Suzy, Elder Shenning, and Elder Wan Ho. These three are all masters of 9th grade precious elixirs, and some even possess the potential to refine 9th grade profound elixirs. They're formidable opponents. Uchiha Madara glanced at the group. He hadn't wanted to refine alchemy at first, but watching the younger generation compete had him itching to try. Since he was already here, he might as well take the title of the continent's top alchemist. As the younger generation left the stage, the audience's gazes turned intensely to Yeoden. Haha, after the appetizers, it's time for the main event. I understand what everyone is thinking. Facing the gazes of the audience, Yeoden smiled faintly and said, a total of 5 people will compete in this pharmacopoeia conference. Even if I don't say much, you should all know who these 5 people are. The final winner will take away the title of the continent's #1 alchemist. I think that whoever can win here will get this title, and no one should be dissatisfied or object. 5 of you, please enter. Haha, clan leader Yeoden is straightforward. I've heard for a long time that the pharmacopoeia is the gathering of the most top alchemists in the Dou Qi continent. I came here today to ask for your advice. My soul clan is slightly interested in the title of the continent's #1 alchemist, so I would like to take it back. As soon as Yeoden finished speaking, the figure of Hunk Suzy appeared in the air in the venue like a ghost, and there was a sense of arrogance and domineering in his calm laughter. HMPH, the Medicine clan is a clan of alchemists. Perhaps it would be better if this title stayed with them. Elder Wan Ho snorted coldly. In a flash, he also appeared in mid-air, staring down Hunk Suzy without flinching. Elder Wan Ho's appearance was met with cheers from the surrounding crowd. This was the Medicine clan's home turf, and they naturally disliked seeing someone from the Hunksu taking away what was, for them, a truly glorious title. Although I have no particular desire for such empty fame, it would be a great disgrace to us alchemists if the title of the continent's greatest alchemist fell upon you. Elder Shenning stomped the air, shaking his cane, which resembled a woven herb, causing the jade bottles on it to clink with a resounding sound. Hovering in the air, he clearly expressed his disapproval of Hunk Suzy. After all, the Hunksu clan's reputation among alchemists was truly terrible. Elder Wan Ho, Hunk Suzy, and Elder Shenning, these three are undeniably giants of the current alchemy world. This showdown is truly something to watch. Gazing at the 3 figures in the sky, the plaza erupted in excitement. Countless alchemists' gazes shone with enthusiasm. The level these 3 had reached was their lifelong pursuit. Hunk Suzy glanced at Elder Wan Ho and Elder Shenning, smiled faintly, and clasped his hands behind his back, revealing the unmistakable demeanor of master. Not to mention his character, Hunk Suzy's mastery of alchemy was truly formidable. 3 have appeared, so who are the last 2? Countless gazes flickered between the 3, then suddenly shifted, resting on Yao Chen and Uchiha Madara. After so many years of silence, it's time for me to return. Yao Chen smiled, also levitating in mid-air. Now, he was the Medicine Saint Yao Chen. Madara casually tore open a dimensional rift, and the space shifted. Madara stood in the center of the arena, his arms folded across his chest. Today, at this final moment, he will make the name of the Uchiha clan resound throughout the world. PS. 2 updates completed. Chapter 171, their respective strange fires. There's no first in literature, no second in martial arts. Every competition in the world inevitably distinguishes between superiors and inferiors. This is true of alchemy as well. But beyond the overt battle for the quality of the final elixir, these competitions also involve subtle struggles. And the content of these struggles is the alchemist's trump card flame. Coincidentally, the 5 9th grade grandmasters participating in this pharmacopoeia all possessed strange fire. First, Hunk Suzy waved his sleeves, and a blanket of black flames erupted from his body, coalescing into a massive black cauldron 100 feet tall in the sky before them. A faint, strange, devouring force emanated from the cauldron. Void devouring flame. Yao-chan, Elder Wan-huo, and Elder Shennong's gazes narrowed as they gazed upon the cauldron formed from the condensation of black flames. They spoke in deep voices. I never imagined such a strange fire would fall into the hands of the Soul Clan. Elder Shennon frowned, his gaze filled with solemnity as he gazed at the black fire cauldron. As a veteran in the alchemy world, he was well aware of the power of the void devouring flame. Summon the strange fire within you. My void devouring flame is extremely responsive to their flavor, Hunk Suzy said with a smile, gazing at the other four. However, a hint of feeling good in Hunk Suzy's gaze as he glanced at Uchiha Madara. Clearly, from the information gathered by the Soul Palace's deputy master, Hunk Suzy knew that Uchiha Madara was a true master of the strange fire path. It's only a spawn of the void devouring flame, Uchiha Madara sneered. While the void devouring flame within Hunk Suzy felt stronger than that of the Soul Palace master, it didn't reach the terrifying level of the true void devouring flame, and was far inferior to the pure lotus demonic fire. I'm afraid it's just a sub-fire that has gained more of the original power. Upon hearing this, Hunk Suzy's eyes narrowed slightly. Sub-fires aren't something the average person can easily identify. However, Uchiha Madara had previously killed Hunmi Shing, who also possessed the sub-fire of the void devouring flame. His hasty remark at this moment was understandable. However, the sub-fire of the void devouring flame in his hand was vastly different from the one in Hunmi Shing's. The void devouring flame is extremely mysterious, known only to a select few. Even its sub-fires have different levels. Above the many ordinary sub-fires, there are two unique sub-fires, known as the Heaven and Earth sub-fires. The void devouring flame in his hand is one of these, the Earth sub-fire. This so-called Earth sub-fire, in some ways, can be considered a juvenile form of the void devouring flame, its power far surpassing the ordinary sub-fire wielded by the Soul Palace master. If you want to devour our strange fire, you'll have to see if you have the ability. Elder Wan-huo snorted coldly, then waved his sleeves. Suddenly, a gust of light black wine suddenly roared out from his sleeves, rapidly wriggling in the air. But if you look closely, you can see that this is not a violent wind, but a strange flame. 9 Nether Wind Flame. Yao Chen looked at the gust of wind and flame summoned by Elder Wan-huo with a little surprise. 9 Nether Wind Flame is ranked 10th on the strange fire list, one level higher than his bone spirit cold fire. Uchiha Madara took note of Elder Wan-huo in his heart, and planned to seize the strange fire after the pharmacopoeia was concluded. Haha, old Wan-huo, your 9 Nether Wind Flame is becoming increasingly proficient. Elder Shennon laughed heartily, tapping the air with his herbal cane. Since that's the case, then I too must perform my part. As he finished speaking, the cane in his hand suddenly ignited without fire. A wisp of liquid green flame slowly rose, finally swelling with the wind. Amidst the sea of green liquid fire, layers of mist rose. Within this rising mist, countless exotic herbs slowly grew, emitting a moving aura of life. Is this the flame of life? Yao Chen was even more astonished at the vibrant vitality that permeated the air. The flame of life ranked 5th on the list of unusual fires. This unusual fire was extremely unique. While most unusual fires, despite their different forms, all radiate destructive power. However, this flame of life did not display such destructive power. It was renowned for its imbued vitality. It's said that once this strange fire spreads, simply dropping medicinal herb seeds into it will cause them to quickly germinate and grow. This means that with this strange fire, searching for herbs becomes unnecessary. As long as you have enough seeds, you'll be able to obtain the herbs you desire endlessly. It's truly miraculous. Furthermore, this flame of life is also known as the flame of longevity. Those who possess it will have a lifespan comparable to even that of the renowned Warcraft. Hunk Suzy's gaze fixed on the flame of life in Elder Shennong's hands. A flicker of greed in his eyes. All things in this world have an end to their lifespans, but if one could obtain this flame of life, one could greatly extend their lifespan. Such a temptation is irresistible. It's the flame of life, Elder Shennong. You're truly blessed. Elder Wan-huo smiled, a hint of envy on his face. Once fully formed, this flame of life would possess considerable intelligence. Normally, it wouldn't appear as fire, but would transform into various medicinal herbs, quietly taking root in the soil. Sometimes, even if you walked right by it, you wouldn't be able to identify it. Only those with great luck could find it from the ground. Haha, just a fluke, an unexpected find, while searching for medicinal herbs, said the old man Shenning, stroking his beard and smiling. For someone like him who disliked fighting, obtaining this kind of strange fire was truly the most joyful thing. Uchiha Madara nodded. Great, another strange fire has arrived. And it's ranked as high as 5th, which is exactly what he wanted. Yao Chen waved his hand, his expression a bit amused, and the Azure Bone Spirit Cold Fire appeared in the field. Compared to the 10th ranked 9 Nether Wind Flame, the 5th ranked Living Spirit Flame, and the 2nd ranked Void Devouring Flame, his 11th ranked Bone Spirit Cold Fire was at the bottom. However, Yao Chen looked at Uchiha Madara. If he was right, Uchiha Madara's strange fire was the most powerful of the 5. The other 4 also turned their eyes to Uchiha Madara, wanting to see his flame. Madara flicked his finger, and a wisp of black flame appeared, rapidly soaring into the air. Like a king of fire, he commanded the other 4 fires to bow down before him. Even the child fire of the void devouring flame was no exception. A brand new Amaterasu, here we go. PS. First update. I've learned a lot today. My writing has gradually become organized into a system, and I've discovered many shortcomings. Chapter 172, Fighting for Heaven and Earth Energy. The Amaterasu flame soared hundreds of feet, transforming into a massive pitch black medicine cauldron, standing squarely in the center of the square. Meanwhile, Yao Chen, Han Zuzi, Elder Wan Huo, and Elder Sheneng retreated, occupying the 4 corners of the square, each using their own unique fire to condense a medicine cauldron. At their level, the so-called medicine cauldron was no longer so important. If they so desired, they could instantly use their unique fire to condense a cauldron comparable to the top few on the heavenly cauldron rankings. The 4 surrounded one person, perhaps intentionally or unintentionally, but one thing was certain, Uchiha Madara, at the very center of the square, would be significantly influenced by them. However, things are often relative. If 4 people could influence Madara simultaneously, then Madara could also influence 4 people simultaneously. With a flick of his finger, thousands of medicinal herbs appeared, and Uchiha Madara tossed them all into the medicine cauldron. Clearly, Madara intended to refine all of them simultaneously. So many herbs, and he actually wants to refine them all at once. Seeing this, the elders of the medicine clan couldn't help but shudder. Thousands of medicinal herbs, each requiring a completely different extraction ingredient. Could they really be thrown all at once into the cauldron? In the sky, those thousands of herbs were devoured by the cauldron in a single gulp. Uchiha Madara sat cross-legged in midair. Perhaps for other alchemists, this would be a difficult task, but for him, whose soul had reached the Emperor realm, it was a piece of cake. Blazing black flames enveloped the cauldron, resembling a vast fireball. Every few minutes, small balls of fire shot out of the cauldron, finally circling it in midair. Within these balls of fire were variously colored medicinal liquids and powders, all refined to the purest possible level. As more and more balls of fire hovered around Uchiha Madara's cauldron, the other 3 in the distant sky also refined large quantities of herbs. All of them were grandmasters, and the basic task of refining herbs was clearly no problem for them. In the square, numerous alchemists watched the smooth, flowing refining techniques unfold in the sky, their faces filled with fascination, their enthusiasm surging. This process of refining medicinal herbs continued for an uninterrupted period. Madara was the first to open his eyes, gazing at the dense clusters of fireballs hovering around the fire cauldron. With a flick of his hand, the flames swept into the cauldron once again. Immediately afterwards, a shocking surge of energy emanated from the cauldron, vibrating it to a humming sound. Shortly after Madara had refined all the herbs, Hunk Suzy also opened his eyes and placed the refined medicinal liquid into the cauldron. Then, he shifted his hand seals and shouted, "Powers of heaven and earth, obey my command." As Hunk Suzy's shout rang out, a sudden, violent wind swept across the heavens and earth, and boundless celestial energy converged upon the cauldron, ultimately being absorbed by the emanating suction force within. This terrifying devouring process eventually transformed the energy into a dappled energy storm, roaring furiously above the sky, before being completely swallowed by the fire cauldron. The terrifying sound of alchemy made many people secretly gulp. They had never heard of absorbing the energy of heaven and earth when refining an elixir, as this energy could sometimes disrupt the balance of the medicinal properties, leading to failure. However, such thoughts were naturally only held by ordinary people. The faces of the medicine clan elders and some of the alchemy masters were filled with horror at this moment. Even Xiao Yan, the medicine clan leader, grew solemn. Concentrating the energy of heaven and earth to refine an elixir, he actually wants to refine a 9th grade profound elixir. 9th grade elixirs are divided into 9th grade treasure elixir, 9th grade profound elixir, and 9th grade golden elixir. Now that the 9th grade golden elixir has become a legend, refining the 9th grade profound elixir would undoubtedly make one the continent's greatest alchemist. The movement made by Hunk Suzy Geo was also noticed by the others. Elder Wan Huo frowned, snorted coldly, then transformed his hand seals and shouted, "Power of heaven and earth, concentrate." Hearing Elder Wan Huo shout, many members of the medicine clan were instantly excited. Elder Wan Huo was actually also trying to refine a 9th grade profound pill. Haha, since you two are so generous, I can't be left behind. Elder Shannon laughed heartily upon seeing this. With a wave of his sleeves, the power of heaven and earth in this area became turbulent again, and powerful streams of energy were drawn into the cauldron before him. I'll join in the fun. Yao Chen laughed too, his eyes filled with excitement. This kind of battle made his blood boil. This was a true contest between the continent's top alchemists. You all want to refine a 9th grade profound pill? Ban chuckled. Under the pressure of his Emperor Realm soul, most of the surrounding heaven and earth energy flowed directly towards him. Now that he was here, he would not let this heaven and earth energy be plundered. In the square, numerous alchemists gazed at the energy storm erupting in the sky, their hearts filled with shock. Several of them were actually refining the legendary 9th grade profound pill. Such a scene was rare to see in a century. While the ordinary alchemists were thrilled, Xiao Dan, the head of the medicine clan, couldn't help but look peculiar. He wasn't familiar with the other situation, but Elder Wan Huo's success rate for refining a 9th grade profound pill was probably no more than 20%, and that was with all preparations in place. Now, while competing with other alchemists of the same realm for celestial energy, his chances of refining a 9th grade profound pill were probably only around 10%. Refining a 9th grade profound pill required a tremendous amount of celestial energy. While the celestial energy within a 10,000 mile radius of Yaoshan was rich, it could only produce one 9th grade profound pill. And these guys, in one fell swoop, were refining 5. Yaodan thought, then shook his head. He didn't believe any of the 5 could succeed. This contest was likely to end in a draw, with all 5 failing. The 9th grade Zuundan, which no alchemist has successfully refined in nearly 100 years, is truly difficult. At this moment, 5 massive tornadoes gathered in the sky, one end of which was connected to a medicine cauldron, while the other end absorbed the rich energy of heaven and earth. Faced with the extraordinary tug-of-war between the 5, the people in the square even felt that the fighting spirit in their bodies was about to break through. Countless people hurriedly retreated, fearing that the fighting spirit they had worked so hard to cultivate would be sucked away, which would be a huge loss. Yeoden looked at the sky carefully, letting him see what the final result would be. P.S. Today's update ends. Seeing a big shot of the same period being stimulated, his narrative ability really needs to be greatly improved. Chapter 173. Those who rob others will always be robbed. The energy phenomenon in the sky persisted for a considerable period. The natural energy within a 10,000 mile radius became significantly thinner, and many plants around the square withered and yellowed, evidently their energy being forcibly drained. The 9th rank profound pill was a man-made divine artifact, requiring as much energy to form as a person cultivating from scratch to Daosheng. Ancient texts record that in ancient times, wherever a 9th rank profound pill was created, 1,000 miles of desolation followed, as all the natural energy was absorbed by the elixir. In the sky, the 4 outer energy storms had quietly dissipated. Their soul power could only sustain them to reach the natural energy within a 10,000 mile radius. However, the Emperor Realm Soul was different. Wherever the Emperor Realm Soul could sense, it could absorb natural energy. Records indicate that in ancient times, powerful individuals who reached the Emperor Realm Soul realm could control the natural energy of the entire central plains with a single thought. This level of power was truly terrifying. Of the 5 natural energy tornadoes, only Uchiha Madara's, the central and largest, remained. The other 4 people's tightly closed eyes opened at this moment, their brows furrowed as they gazed at the unfinished elixirs within their respective cauldrons. Without the ability to mobilize the energies of heaven and earth, using only their own Dou Qi would clearly be impossible to fill this massive pit. It seems no one has succeeded this time, Elder Wan Huo said with a wry smile, shaking his head. 9th grade profound pills. Under these conditions, I still can't refine them myself, Yao Chen sighed. It seemed that despite his advancement to Dao Sheng status, refining the 9th grade profound pill, something unseen in nearly a century, wasn't so easy. That may not be the case. As Elder Wan Huo and Yao Chen finished their words, a strange smile crossed the face of Hunk Suzy in the distance. Hunk Suzy's hand seal suddenly shifted, and he slammed his palm down on the cauldron in front of him. 3 pillars of black flame erupted, ultimately transforming into 3 madly swirling black holes above the cauldrons of Yao Chen, Elder Wan Huo, and Elder Shenning. A terrifying devouring force surged forth. Instantly, the vast energy that had been absorbed within the 3 fire cauldrons for so long transformed into beams of light, forcibly swallowed by the black hole. Hunk Suzy, how dare you? Seeing this, the 3's expressions instantly darkened. They hadn't expected Hunk Suzy to be so bold as to set his sights on them. Elder Shenning, Elder Wan Huo, and Yao Chen roared in unison. The flame of life, the 9 nether wind flame, and the bone spirit cold fire suddenly surged out, slamming fiercely into the black hole. However, facing the 3's ferocious onslaught, the black hole only spun faster and faster. The surge of devouring force even devoured some of the 3's strange fire. Seeing their attempts to stop it were futile, the 3's expressions darkened. While the flame of life was highly ranked, it was primarily known for its supporting power. In a true battle, it would be no match for the void devouring flame. As for the 9 nether wind flame and the bone spirit cold fire, they were only ranked 10th and 11th, respectively, leaving them with an insurmountable gap to the void devouring flame. Haha, with the strange fires of you 3, you think you can stop the void devouring flame? You're dreaming. Hunk Suzy's eyes flickered, and he activated his devouring power, pouring more and more celestial energy into his medicine cauldron. The embryonic form of the elixir within the cauldron began to take shape. Yaoden, the medicine clan leader, frowned at this moment. As expected, the Soul Clan wasn't a good group. If word got out about this, the reputation of the pharmacopoeia would be ruined. However, the pharmacopoeia had no rules prohibiting this, leaving him in a dilemma. However, a problem arose for Hunk Suzy's refining process. Because Uchiha Madara's Emperor Realm Soul absorbed celestial energy with such excessive force, the combined celestial energy absorbed by the 4 of them still fell far short of the energy required for a 9th grade profound elixir. This question involuntarily drew Hunk Suzy's gaze towards Uchiha Madara. Amidst his fear, a surge of urges surged within him. He sought to seize the celestial energy from Uchiha Madara's energy storm, which was far greater than the combined energy storms of all the others. If he could successfully capture the celestial energy within it, he should be able to confidently refine the once-in-a-century 9th grade profound pill today. After some reflection, he concluded that desire overwhelmed reason. He possessed the void-devouring flame, yet he was also a 7-star Dao Sheng. He should give himself confidence and courage. So, Hunk Suzy extended his hand again, and a jet black beam of light appeared, connecting directly to Uchiha Madara's energy storm. It drew a vast amount of energy from it. Under this immense surge of energy, the initial form of Hunk Suzy's pill solidified at a much faster pace. Hunk Suzy's eyes gleamed. 9th grade profound pill. Dou Qi Continent's #1 alchemist, today. Haha. But then, Uchiha Madara opened his eyes, glanced at Hunk Suzy, and sneered. To snatch his things right in front of him? How audacious. Madara's energy surged, and with a wave of his hand, the immense force shattered Hunk Suzy's black flame pillar. Simultaneously, the energy within Hunk Suzy's elixir prototype transformed into a tornado, pouring back towards Madara. If you dare to rob others, then be prepared to be robbed yourself too. After a moment's pause, Hunk Suzy roared in near fury. The Yaoden in the square, the numerous Yao clan members, and the competing Yaochan, Elder Shenning, and Elder Wanho were all in a state of confusion. Hunk Suzy had merely robbed Uchiha Madara of his celestial energy, but Uchiha Madara was now aiming to completely absorb the celestial energy within Hunk Suzy's elixir prototype. Even more ruthless. Serves you right. The Yao clan elders remark with a hint of gloating due to Hunk Suzy's previous actions. Uchiha Madara. Today, I will tear you into pieces. Hunk Suzy's face was cold, his dignity completely gone. He was almost there. He was almost going to become the first person in the Dou Qi continent in hundreds of years to successfully refine a 9th grade profound elixir. He was almost going to become the continent's #1 alchemist. But now, because of Uchiha Madara, all of this has become a bubble. With Hunk Suzy's raw, overwhelming black flames shot out from his fire cauldron, transforming into a black fire dragon that rushed towards Uchiha Madara, its huge mouth filled with endless devouring power. Uchiha Madara's face also turned cold. Today, this Hunk Suzy will die. PS. First update. After studying today, I feel that my writing has greatly improved again. Chapter 174 The #1 alchemist in 100 years. Hunk Suzy, since you're so fond of energy, I'll give it to you. Just as Hunk Suzy's black flame dragon darted forth, a sea of green fire suddenly engulfed it from below. Within the sea of fire, countless towering trees sprouted almost instantly, entwining themselves around the black smoke dragon like vines. Elder Shenning, you dare to cross me? The sudden attack, while inflicting no damage to the black flame dragon, did manage to restrain it. Seeing this, Hunk Suzy's expression suddenly turned cold, and he glared at Elder Shenning in the distance, sternly addressing him. I've lived a long life, yet I've never feared anyone. As for a shameless person like you, if I had the power, I would wipe you from this world, lest you bring shame upon the alchemist. Facing Hunk Suzy's bark, Elder Shenning sneered, his words rather pointedly. Just you? You old wretch, you're tired of living. I haven't even set my sights on your flame of life, and yet you dare to provoke me. Hunk Suzy's eyes were cold, a sinister smile playing on his lips. With a clenched hand, the black flame dragon roared to the heavens, opened its maw towards the green sea of fire below, and a surge of devouring power erupted, swallowing the green flames directly into its body. Woo. Just as Hunk Suzy was about to devour the sea of fire, a pale black tornado suddenly slammed down upon its body, and flames erupted, sending the black flame dragon flying. Wanho, your medicine clan is seeking to antagonize my soul clan. Faced with another obstruction, Hunk Suzy's expression grew extremely terrifying, his murderous gaze directed at Elder Wanho in the distance. In a contest, there's no distinction between races. Are you allowed to attack me just because you attacked me earlier? So I'm not allowed to attack you? How ridiculous. Elder Wanho waved his sleeves and sarcastically said. But, very good. Hunk Suzy's eyes twitched, and he chuckled in anger. His palms trembled with rage, and from deep within his eyes, eerie black flames flickered like venomous snakes. Just as these flames threatened to burst forth, Hunk Suzy hesitated, as if struck by a thought, then retracted them, sneering, You two, you think you can stop me? As soon as he finished speaking, the black flame dragon suddenly shot out, entwining the tornado formed by the 9 nether wind flame. The two behemoths instantly tore wildly in the sky, raining down blazing fire. Fortunately, the intervention of the Yao clan elders prevented this rain from destroying Yaoshan. Meanwhile, Yaochan, controlling the bone spirit cold fire, transformed into a massive, dark white dragon, charging towards the black flame dragon, putting it under renewed pressure. Thus, the 4 strange fires engaged in a fierce battle. Madara glanced over, and was slightly surprised to see the other 3 men offering their assistance. It seemed Hunk Suzy had indeed incurred public wrath. He retracted his gaze, looking back at the medicine cauldron before him. Hunk Suzy was merely a minor figure, easily crushed. There was one final step before the elixir could be completed. He needed to complete this first, then deal with Hunk Suzy. Uchiha Madara snapped his fingers, and a vast storm of celestial energy instantly poured into the elixir. In the center of the cauldron's brimming liquid energy, a tiny speck of light slowly emerged. Boom. The moment the tiny speck of light appeared, the clear sky was instantly filled with dark clouds, a blanket of darkness enveloping the entire land. Black lightning, carrying destructive force, swiftly streaked through the clouds. The deep rumble of thunder filled many with awe. They had never before witnessed such terrifying elixir thunder. Uchiha Madara raised his head, his gaze calmly fixed on the dense black lightning that blanketed the sky. With a wave of his arm, the lid of the fire cauldron automatically flipped away, and a perpetual medicinal fragrance quickly spread. Finally, it condensed into beads of varying colors, densely cascading down from the sky like a magnificent rain of elixir. Such a miraculous sight filled many alchemists with a trembling heart. Watching this scene, the alchemists at the table took a deep breath and murmured in a slightly trembling voice, "The elixir rains down, the mysterious elixir emerges." The strange phenomenon unfolding in the heavens and earth at this moment was precisely what would occur upon the successful refining of a 9th grade mysterious elixir. Uchiha Madara smiled faintly. He was the Dou Qi continent's greatest alchemist in 100 years. He was undoubtedly the one. Above, amidst the thick dark clouds, black lightning darted frantically like a giant python. Its ferocious power made many people shrink their necks, fearing the black lightning would descend upon them. Bang! As thunder clouds surged across the sky, a massive fire cauldron, hundreds of feet across, trembled violently. Then, a pillar of light shot up into the sky. Within it, a ball of light, resembling an egg, could be faintly seen. The massive pillar of light plunged directly into the thunder cloud, directly and in full view of everyone. Suddenly, the thunder cloud churned violently. Black lightning bolts, like roaring black pythons, densely wrapped around the pillar of light and fiercely slammed into the egg within. Boom, boom, boom. Under the earth-shaking impact, even the entire medicine mountain trembled, and a deafening rumble echoed continuously. Uchiha Madara gazed at the egg of light, pounding beneath the relentless thunder. Within it lay the 9th grade profound pill, which could only emerge after enduring this thunder tribulation. Outsiders couldn't help with this kind of thing. 9th grade mysterious pills were unlike other elixirs. They required the power of thunder to achieve complete perfection. Under Madara's gaze, the luminous egg within the beam of light not only didn't shatter, but instead shone brighter. Wisps of black lightning flickered continuously across the egg. Crack. The ferocious bombardment continued for nearly 10 minutes before gradually weakening. Just as the thunder subsided, a subtle cracking sound suddenly emanated from the egg. Everyone's heart trembled, their gaze fixed on the egg. A tiny crack suddenly spread across its surface. Crack. With the appearance of the first crack, as if setting off a chain reaction, more and more cracks appeared on the egg. Threads of light seeped through the cracks, making the egg appear as if covered in spikes of light. Boom. As the cracks gradually filled the egg, another bolt of black lightning suddenly streaked down from the sky, fiercely slamming into the egg. Instantly, the cracks widened, finally shattering with a bang. A startling medicinal aroma permeated the sky, swelling and condensing into a herbal odor that filled the air, a truly bizarre sight. Madara's gaze focused. The elixir was complete. PS. Second update. Chapter 175 Shocking Changes. After the 9th grade Zuanden took shape, it transformed into a beautiful figure, escaping. It was a 9th grade Zuanden, after all, and possessed a high level of intelligence. However, Madara suppressed the 9th grade Zuanden with a flick of his hand, placing it in a jade bottle. Mr. Madara truly deserves the title of the continent's greatest alchemist, praised Yaoden, the Yao clan leader. Uchiha Madara waved his hand, calling it a sideshow. Madara looked down at Hunk Suzy and said, "Before you die, you may struggle a little." Hunk Suzy sneered, "Today, I simply intended to annihilate the Yao clan. Since you've gotten involved, I'll take advantage of that opportunity to destroy you." As soon as these words left his mouth, not only Madara, but also the square fell silent. The expressions of the Yao clan elders darkened in an instant, their gazes gleaming with a cold glint. "Hunk Suzy, do you understand what you're saying?" Yaoden, seated in the main seat, stared blankly at Hunk Suzy in the sky, his eyes gleaming with a sharp cold light. A cold, emotionless voice emanated from his lips. "Haha, Yaoden clan leader, I'd like to borrow the Tuosh ancient emperor jade from you. If you're willing to give it to me directly, I can spare the lives of your Yao clan. If not, don't blame my men for being ruthless." Hunk Suzy said with a smile, seemingly oblivious to the murderous intent surging in Yaodan's eyes. Uchiha Madara watched all this unfold. Hunk Suzy must have a trump card, but he didn't know what it was, or whether it was worth using. Hunk Suzy, you're too brazen. I'll capture you today. As Hunk Suzy finished his words, Elder Wan Huo roared in fury, a vast swathe of fighting spirit surging outward. In a flash, he appeared above Hunk Suzy's head and struck him with a massive palm. Haha. Facing Elder Wan Huo's ferocious attack, Hunk Suzy smiled calmly. The black flames in his eyes surged like a long-suppressed evil dragon, and his aura surged in an instant. Boom. Hunk Suzy's simple palm strike collided with Elder Wan Huo's powerful palm strike. At the moment of contact, Elder Wan Huo was sent flying backwards as if struck hard, landing in a heap on the square, creating a massive crater. Haha, I've been playing with you guys for so long, so consider it a little interest, Hunk Suzy said in the air with the demeanor of master. A faint ripple flickered in Madara's deep ocean-like eyes. A 7-star Dao Sheng's strength was already on par with the Medicine Clan leader. However, this level was far from enough. While a 7-star Dao Sheng seemed low to Madara, it astounded everyone else in Yaotian Square. Even after such a fierce battle for the elixir, he had concealed his true strength. Could it be that he truly intended to annihilate the Medicine Clan? Yaodan's expression turned completely grim. He slowly stood up, his eyes fixed on Hunk Suzy, and said in a cold voice, "Notify the Flame and Thunder tribes. We've found the mastermind behind the destruction of the Spirit and Stone tribes." Yaodan's words caused everyone's expressions to change. Yes. The Yao clan elders, shocked by Yaodan's words, were trembling with fear. They quickly pulled out a scroll and tore it open, sending spatial fluctuations surging. However, just as these fluctuations were about to coalesce into a spatial channel, they seemed to be disturbed by something, and suddenly began to fluctuate violently. The newly formed channel dissipated in an instant. Ban stretched his muscles slightly, sealing off the space. From behind the sealed space, he sensed a presence approaching that of the old dragon. This was starting to get a bit more interesting. Seeing this, many Yao clan members felt a chill in their hearts. Some elders quickly sounded the clan's alarm, and instantly, the nearby mountains were in turmoil. Dense swarms of Yao clan warriors descended upon the air like locusts. Hunk Suzy, what have you done? A Medicine Clan elder shouted sharply. It looks like it's done. In the sky, Hunk Suzy smiled faintly. As for the captured Medicine Clan warriors, he didn't even glance at them. He casually said, I didn't do anything. I just sealed off the Medicine Clan's space. His words immediately caused a commotion below. The powerful warriors who had come to view the pharmacopoeia all took out their spatial scrolls with drastic expressions and quickly tore them apart. However, the final result was exactly the same as before. Something big is going to happen. Yao Chen took a deep breath, his face grimacing. No one had expected the Soul Clan, the masterminds, to actually arrive during the Medicine Clan's pharmacopoeia. Yaodan's face darkened as he pressed his finger against a storage ring, crushing it to dust. This ring could specifically transmit vibrations to the leaders of the Flame and Thunder clans, and only the leaders of these 3 clans could possess it. Haha, Leader Yaodan, don't waste your energy, Hunk Suzy said with a smile. Yaodan ignored his words, his gaze fixed on his fingertips. The fluctuations there, after appearing, whirled around like a headless fly, clearly failing to spread. Seeing this, Yaodan's heart sank. Hunk Suzy, my Yao clan has established a spatial channel with the Yan and Thunder clans. If they discover the channel has disappeared, they will surely know something has changed in my Yao clan. When word gets out, the Gu clan will surely not stand idly by. With the 4 of us joining forces, your Soul clan will surely be annihilated. His heart sank, but Yaodan, the clan leader after all, regained his composure and spoke in a deep voice. If my Soul clan can absorb the Spirit and Stone clan without the Gu clan noticing, then naturally we can also make your Yao clan quietly vanish from this world, Hunk Suzy said calmly. Just you? Yaodan's figure slowly ascended into the air, the terrifying aura of a 7-star Dao Sheng erupting without reservation. The overwhelming pressure was even stronger than that of Hunk Suzy. Such strength truly worthy of the title of clan leader. Senior Hunk Suzy, this is a feud between your Soul clan and the Medicine clan. It has nothing to do with us. Please be kind and let us go. We will surely repay you in the future. As Yeoden ascended, the numerous sect masters and elders who had come to observe the pharmacopoeia hurriedly shouted respectfully. At this moment, they too felt a sense of panic. The previous experience of the Stone Clan and the Spirit Clan being devoid of life taught them that, if they were implicated, they would surely perish. Haha, that's natural. If you're not from the Medicine Clan, feel free to leave. I won't stop you. Upon hearing this, Hunk Suzy smiled softly. Thank you, senior. Seeing this, many sect members were overjoyed. Not daring to say anything more, they turned and rushed desperately towards the entrance to the medicine realm. From the distant horizon, countless black rays suddenly flashed, and immediately, shrill screams echoed. Hoo-ah! Just as the black light flashed in the distance, everyone was suddenly horrified to see endless black flames seep out from the void, finally spreading out overwhelmingly, covering the entire world. Suddenly, the sky was dark. True void devouring flame. Uchiha Madara raised a brow. Things were getting a little more interesting. Hunk Suzy floated in the sky, black flames surging behind him. He smiled and looked down at Yeoden. His arms slowly opened, and the smile on his face became increasingly strange. Yeoden, I'm honored to announce this to you. The Medicine Clan is gone. P.S. First update. I will try to finish Dou Qi devouring by March. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.